It's Obvious Gaming's giving away a free copy of Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that correctly, a free copy. If you'd like to win said copy, there's only a few things to keep in mind. 1. Unfortunately, we can only ship within the United States of America. Currently, we're unable to send stuff outside of the state, so to all of our friends across the world, just know you're in our hearts. We love you to death. There will come a day when we can send you goods, and believe me, we're looking forward to it. Secondly, head on over to youtube.com/itsobviousgaming, subscribe, join us on this video, give it a like, and comment down below letting us know that you want that free copy. A week from today, on September 5th, that'll be episode 66 of the It's Obvious Gaming podcast. We'll put all of your names into a hat, draw out the winner, and we will ship you the sacred copy of the game. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're aware our audience is relatively small, so if you enter, you got a pretty strong chance of winning, so I encourage all to do so. We want to give back to you guys in the little ways that we can, because you've all been so supportive and awesome, and it's always an honor hearing from you guys every week and having you tune in. Regardless of whether or not you enter the contest for the free copy of Deus Ex, just know that we'd love to hear from you guys. Comment down below on anything else you'd like to talk about. Thank you for joining us on episode 65 of the It's Obvious Gaming podcast. Cue the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 65 of the It's Obvious Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Preston Pugh, and I am joined by my two best friends, Garrett Drake.
That's me.
And Jacob Alka.
Good afternoon.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine Saturday afternoon?
Great. Jacob and I had a moment there for some reason.
Why? What happened?
I don't know.
Garrett's just sitting over there smiling at Preston. It's like he's...
I looked over at Jacob. Whenever I see Jacob smile, it's impossible for me not to smile. And then we both realized how silly that was, and we goofed there. So I apologize for ruining your intro.
It's okay.
I just thought it was funny. It wasn't really funny. It was just you were smiling to be like, "Hey, I'm smiling during the podcast."
Oh no, I was genuinely smiling. I always smile at Preston.
I smile at you too, and you call me out on it.
Do I?
So, yeah, you're like, "Why are you laughing at me?" I think that happened in the last podcast.
I think I'm just glad to be here as always. Yeah. I can't help but
It's like
smile.
I always laugh at you, like, or smile at you when you're like stating an opinion, and you're like, "Well, that's just how I feel. Why are you laughing?"
Yeah, I guess we're all just joyful to be here.
We're all just happy to be on the internet's new sensational podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Growing rapidly every week.
Absolutely.
Which is exciting.
Yeah. But as I stated previously, how are you guys doing?
Just fine.
That's good.
Not much going on. I gotta say, I'm so happy to be back at this table with the two of you and everyone who's tuning in on all of our associated services in addition to YouTube. Had an extremely busy work week, and it was just back and forth, and I commute a long way to work, and it was just chaos all week, and I was just trying to jumble this stuff and work all week, and it was very stressful, but the fact that I get to sit down with you on Saturday afternoons and talk video games is just an honest pleasure, and it's a very, very big stress reliever for me, and I'm very glad to be here with you both. So thank you to you two and everyone tuning in. It really is an honor. I know we say that all the time, but I'm very happy to be here, so thank you for tuning in. That's all from me for now. How are you, Jacob?
Excellent.
I'm great. Thank you for asking me.
Totally.
Yeah, I've probably been less busy. Been playing some games, watching some shows.
Some shows.
Hanging
plural?
out with people.
People?
Yeah.
Okay.
All kinds of things.
Nice,
And,
nice.
Still unemployed.
Are you?
Yes.
You're on the job hunt, though.
Yeah, actually, I should be getting an internship here in the next couple of days.
That's very exciting.
I had a very good interview, and the guy's going to call me tomorrow on a Sunday.
That's great.
Interesting, but...
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Should
I'm
start in the
excited
next
for
couple
you.
weeks. It's going to be unpaid, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to find another job. But yeah,
Well, this is your main job. It's obvious,
Right, yeah.
So we roll in the dough.
Yeah.
You know. So.
But hopefully, good things will come from this. So.
Right.
You're even a bigger bum than usual now.
Yeah.
I suck.
You can always go back to Jim and Nick's temporarily. I'd come and eat there. You should be a server this time, though. You should return as like the chosen one. Like you started as the cook, but now you're back as the server.
Maybe.
How the tables have turned.
We'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, we will see.
So, how about you, Preston? How have you been?
I've been fine. I feel weird.
How so?
My
Physically, mentally, spiritually?
physically and mentally.
Okay.
For sure. This week of course, started
Are you about to cry?
with... No, I'm just really tired.
Okay, it looked like you were tearing up for a second.
I yawned. And I tell a story. Is that weird that I tear up when I yawn?
No, I do.
Because I remember, like, in high school, I'd be like, whoa, yawning. They're like, dude, why are you crying? I'm like, am I the only person that,
You
like,
some kind of loser, man?
I tear up sometimes.
Okay.
If I have a very passionate yawn,
Passionate
like a very, like, pure yawn of exhaustion, then I will shed a few tears.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully this video goes viral and all the high schoolers used to bully me about it.
Yeah.
We'll know I'm not the only one now, so screw you guys. But nah, dude, my sleep schedule is just, it is genuinely effed. And today was the day to change it. And I'm just extremely tired due to the fact of me waking up extremely early to my body. I'll give you a layout of what this week's been like.
Please do.
Tuesday, I got Deus Ex. And that's literally consumed my life.
Correct.
To a scary point.
Uh-huh.
I just haven't been sleeping.
Yeah.
I've been I'll go to sleep at like 4 and I'll wake up at like 2 or 3. And then like I'll be eating like dinner at when lunch will be and stuff. It is just completely like screwing me up big time. Right. So I'm going out of town Monday.
That's scary
for work. So that's why today we're shooting this on Saturday, obviously. Monday when I leave, I gotta wake up relatively early. So today was my day to get things on track. So Sunday will just be a normal day, and then Monday will be a normal day.
Okay.
So I went to bed last night at like 3:30. And woke up this morning at like 10.
Okay.
So that's like, 7 hours. Yeah. But, my body's used to sleeping, like 10 or 11. But let me give you a backstory on what happened last night.
Okay. Is this the story you were telling or about to tell us earlier?
Yeah. It's not like anything to get excited for. It's just, it's kind of funny. Maybe. I hope it's funny. All right. But as I previously stated last week, that I'm trying to eat better. And I've been successful in that.
Yeah.
I'm going on like 16 days of working out every single day.
Just eating nuts and seeds, right?
Eating nuts and seeds and all that.
Drinking from an actual spring in the forest.
Yeah, exactly. If it didn't come from the earth, I ain't putting it in my body.
Right.
But last night, me and my girlfriend, we like to once a week, eat something that just tastes good. Mm-hmm. So I was previously staying at Lizzie's house, and I have to house sit my parents' house this week.
Right.
It's their anniversary, their 26th year anniversary.
Congratulations to them.
Yes, congrats to them for sure. And they're heading down to Atlanta for the weekend, so we're having to watch the dog, so we kind of shipped our base to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you shit your base to your house.
Shit my base. So as I arrive at my house, I notice Lizzie's taking a while to get there.
Okay.
And I'm like, I hope she didn't, die in a ridiculous car crash or something.
Right. That's always the first assumption.
That's always the first assumption. So she walks through my door holding a... granted, it's Friday, and our bad eating day was supposed to be today.
Right.
So she walks through my front door holding 12 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts.
No way.
I'm like, what have you done, Lizzie? We've been so good. We're supposed to wait till tomorrow to go crazy. And you bring me 12 donuts now. She's like, well, I thought we were going to wait till tomorrow. And I was like, I don't have self-control when you bring things to me, which is why I just don't buy it. Because, if it's there, I'm going to eat it. So I'm like, I'm going to eat it. So I was like, let's just turn our crazy day right now. Like, let's start right now. So right off the bat, dude, I hit the ground running. I eat like 4 donuts.
Oh my gosh.
Right off the bat. And I
be descriptive here and make it interesting. What kind of donuts?
They're just original glazed.
Okay.
She didn't go. I was kind of disappointed. Don't get me wrong. Krispy Kreme's original glazed are the best.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like to mix it up every now and then, like with a cream filled or a cruller or just a chocolate glaze with sprinkles. I like to
that's Jacob's style. You see him giving the nod of approval over there.
That's good. And I always like to have an original between all that. But illustrate original, that's fine, it's whatever. I ate like 4 of them. You can just inhale those things and like you don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
So I ate 4 of those. And we had planned on, I found a video online. She's a really big YouTuber. Somehow I found it on Facebook of her making these Harry Potter butterbeer milkshakes.
I've heard of that.
Dude. And I was like, we have to make these. It consists of a milk, like vanilla bean ice cream with cream soda and butterscotch.
Oh my gosh.
Dude. So not only did I eat 4 Krispy Kreme donuts, but we made these milkshakes. And they were unreal. Like, I know you would freaking love them. They are so good, but they are so rich.
I bet.
So I had 4 Krispy Kreme donuts, butterbeer milkshake.
Oh my
Then we went and got pizza. So I had pepperoni pizza on top of that with breadsticks with like this cheese dipping sauce and marinara sauce. I had a Dr. Pepper. I'm telling you, dude, I went all in. And this is like midnight. And I'm going to bed like in 3 hours. So I go to bed and I wake up and I just have I'm used to eating like chicken and twigs and berries all week, and I've just
like a deer in the forest.
My stomach's like a freaking chemical like waste plant now. So I wake up and it's making
chemicals in your stomach
basically. So I have a few moments in the bathroom throughout the night. Like, it is destroying me.
Yeah. Did you get to know the toilet pretty well?
Very well.
You guys share a conversation?
Yeah.
Nice.
Quite a few conversations, very personal conversations.
Yeah.
And I woke up I forced myself to wake up this morning, and I was like, okay, I immediately have to just on a dime just switch back to healthy Preston. So I'm like, I'm gonna work out at around 11. Like, I'll give myself an hour to wake out and work out. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to wake up, I'm still super tired, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take some pre-workout. So on an empty stomach, I take 2 servings of pre-workout. Within 30 minutes, I regret that. So it was literally like I inhaled like a gallon of laxatives. So I'm hitting the bathroom even more now.
Yeah.
So then I start working out, and I'm kind of doing like chest and back. I'm doing, a lot of presses and push-ups and pull-ups and stuff. Dude, I'm like doing a set of push-ups, and it hits me that I'm gonna throw up everywhere.
No.
So I run to the bathroom, and nothing comes up because I haven't eaten anything.
Yeah.
So I just sit there, and I swear I'm dying.
Yeah,
I'm just laying.
Were you just dry heaving the whole time?
Yeah, I'm like,
Dry
I'm
heaving
dying
sucks.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm freaking dying. I go downstairs, like lay on my my family's like big lounge chair or whatever it's called.
Right.
And my parents are getting ready to leave, and my mom comes in there. She's like, oh my gosh, like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm dying. I swear I'm dying. She's like, what'd you do? I was like, I took the pre-workout. And she's like, that's so dumb. Like, why'd you do that? She's like scolding me and stuff.
Right.
So she's like, you have to eat something. And I'm like, I can't do it. I'm going to throw it back up. So I finally force myself. I like eat this protein bar, and I'm literally nibbling at it. I'm taking little crumbs, and I just do this burp, just like, and I immediately feel amazing.
Oh, it's just pressure then.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I had some grilled chicken and some tomatoes for lunch and a little bit of salsa, and I'm back to feeling fine now.
Wow.
I'm ridiculously tired.
You're like the drug addict that did every drug at once after you were off it for like 6 months.
Pretty
and you just
much,
relapsed so hard.
That just shows like when it's in front of me, I literally have no self-control. So
and the very next day, you're like, I'm fine. It didn't do anything. I can have a cheat day every now and then.
Yeah, but I'm
like bleeding from the eyes.
Yeah, it was. We bought way too much food, and it's her fault. Those donuts. I think
it's all her fault.
If I wouldn't have had the donuts, I think that would have been fine. Just 4 donuts, I think, pushed it way over the edge.
Wow.
So, anyways, that was my week. We watched. I think I told y'all last week. We watched all the 600-pound people. So we were trying to find a show to fill that gap. And I found one show called Fat and Fabulous, and I tried watching it, and it was just this girl saying, like, you can be fat and fit. And I was just like, I can't do this, so I turned it off. So I haven't found my fat people void is missing.
You need a fat people void?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just, for some reason, watching them eat that food at the beginning and seeing how they progress, like, inspires me. It, like, I feel good. I'm like, good for you. And I don't have that anymore. So I tried watching Hoarders, and those people piss me off.
Yeah.
I tried watching My Strange Addiction.
Yeah, you have a thing for like just weird
I want to see
people.
people go through turmoil, but come out in the end. So it inspires me, So if you have any recommendations, I would love to see a show. I did watch My Strange Addiction, and
That's the weirdest
a woman
freaking
was
show
married to a carnival ride.
Yeah,
his name was like Butch or something.
You showed us that, didn't you?
It was different. It was
Okay.
another one.
Okay.
But that was interesting. So
Yeah, that stuff is
anyways.
just fascinating.
Yeah, I did that, and I played a lot of Deus Ex. So sorry, I rambled on for a while.
That's
but,
fine. I mean, I had a
that's what
brief
my week
relationship with my
consisted of.
television for a point. I mean, we broke up, and everything's fine now. But man, the carnival rides is a bit much.
Well, that was like her 4th marriage, apparently. To
Oh, really?
She was married to a locomotive.
Okay.
Married to a plane, an airplane. That was her first love, was an airplane.
What,
Then it was
like a commercial airplane, or
It looked like a little private, like
Okay.
pond or
like a private jet?
pond hoppers. Is that what they called? Like little. It's
Like
like
a biplane?
It's like a slang term for like a little tiny plane. It's like a pod hopper or something, or pond hopper or something like that. I don't know. Little plane. She fell in love with that. She's like, things didn't work out.
He flew away.
The train.
Yeah.
That didn't work out either.
Oh.
What's a good thing we could say for the train? He was
off the tracks.
I like you. And then, but I hate this. she was really into the carnival ride. Butch, I think is his name.
All right.
So she has romantic dinners inside of him. Eats like pizza and stuff inside of him.
Yeah.
So I guess that's to the equivalent of like you having a dinner inside of your partner's anus or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great comparison there.
Yeah.
You sound like you had a rough.
I'm fine.
Couple of days, but I'm glad you bounced back and you're with us now.
Thank you.
And you're in good health. I had a similar week of exhaustion. I have this weird problem, and every day I tell myself the same thing. Like, Garrett, you have to stop doing this. You're literally hurting yourself. Because I will get up every morning around 6:30 and go to work all day, and then I'll stay up till about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, sleep for like 3 hours. And
I
get
honestly
up and do it
don't
again.
understand how you do that.
I do it every single day, and every single time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed earlier tonight. Never do, and I somehow find a way to stay up till 2. And when I lay my head down, I'm like, I feel like I've gotten in bed earlier tonight, and I look, it's like 3:45. I'm like, shit. But so I keep doing that, and it's a problem because I rarely do I ever actually feel like, man, I'm going to fall asleep. I'm so tired. It just makes me very stupid. Like, I forget things. I get very delusional. Like, half the time I'm reading our notes these days, like, I can't finish the sentence because I'm like, my eyes can't focus on the words. I'm so delusional. It's like, because I stay up too late. And I did it last night where I went to bed around 3 or 4 and had to get up at 6 again for an event that was this weekend. And then tomorrow I have to do the exact same thing. But instead of being there for 5 hours, I'm going to be there for 13 hours. So I keep doing that over and over and over and over and over again. So I just got to get in a habit of going to bed earlier because it's killing me. Like, I'll be driving home and forget how I even got home. I just pull in my driveway. I'm like, oh, home now. So you got to be careful of that. So I'm pretty tired myself. So I can relate to having a just effed up sleep schedule. I think it just all circles back to when I was a child. I mean, I've always said I've never really liked sleeping in general. I like sleeping when I'm very, very tired because I'm like, oh, it's relief. I can sleep now. But just sleep in general has always bothered me because I'd rather be doing anything else in the world. Like, I could be playing video games, I could watch a movie, I could be doing anything productive, but I have to lay in this bed for like 7 or 8 hours and just lay there and do nothing. And that's just always been in my mind for some reason. I just hate sleeping.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you there. The act of actually going to sleep is not fun.
No, unless
I would struggle to go to sleep.
Right, unless you're on the verge of falling asleep, then I'm like, okay. Yeah. But 9 times out of 10, the reason why I stay up so late is because by the time I get in the bed, I'm just like fall dead asleep. But if I get in bed any earlier, granted it is because my sleep schedule is so messed up, but if I get in bed any earlier, I lay there for hours. Even if I try shutting my eyes, I still just lay there trapped in my own mind for hours and regret every decision I've ever made in my life. So,
I do that too.
Not actually, but yeah, I hate the act of falling asleep. So it all cycles back, like I said, to when I was a child. I couldn't tell time when I was a young child, obviously. Before I learned how to tell time, I knew it was close to my bedtime when the lamps in my house would come on. Because, I mean, the sun was setting, the lamps would come on, and it would drive me insane because I knew, like, in an hour, my parents were going to stick me in the bed. And even as a child, I hated sleeping. I just lay there all night, and I'd sneak out of bed and play with my action figures and stuff. So even as a child, I hated it. And to this day, I have this weird issue where if there's lights on in the house when it's daytime, it just like gives me a weird feeling. I always turn them off. Like, I got in countless arguments with my sister growing up where she'd turn on the lamps and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, that is what the sun is for.
What if the sun's not out?
Well, if the sun's not out, if it's like cloudy, but you can still see. I'm just weird. When I'm not as bad now, but when I was like in high school and I saw lamps coming on, not that my parents would be like, it's almost time for your bedtime because the lamps are on. But whenever I saw the lights on when the sun was out outside, it drove me insane. So I've never liked sleeping. That's why I have such bad sleeping habits. But hopefully I'll get my act together so I don't die when I'm 30 of like a random heart attack or something because I haven't slept in like 13 years for more than like a few hours a night. But that's my situation. But the other thing I was going to say is I'm excited about this evening because Jacob and I are going on a double date for the first time. You're stuck house sitting. You can't go with us, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
That sucks.
I feel
it could have been an awesome triple
I was
date.
giving like a fake excuse.
No, I believe you.
You invited me, and then like a while I was like, oh crap, I forgot I have to I have to house sit
Yeah.
or something. But,
What?
yeah, for real. It is. I've like promised my parents like weeks out. They've been planning this trip down to Atlanta
Right.
for a while. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to bail on y'all.
Yeah, you're not alone. 'Cause all next week, my sister's gone and my parents are gone, so I'm watching the dogs all week long, going back and forth to work. So that'll be interesting. But I was gonna say I'm excited because Jacob and I are going on a double date for the first time in our history as friends. I'm surprised it's been this long, and we're going to get some food somewhere tasty. I think Casey said she wants pizza. I don't know how you feel about that. You want to go back to crust? Do you like crust?
We could. I mean, I had a calzone last night, so
Calzone.
yeah,
Nice.
it's kind of a pizza.
That's true.
So,
We'll talk
Calzones
about it. It
are
doesn't
so
matter to
good.
me.
Where did you have it?
mellow mushroom. Never actually stepped foot in that place.
Really?
But, I've always heard
Did you go to
good
the one
things.
on 13?
Yeah.
Man,
Okay.
you've never been to Mellow Mushroom before?
No.
What the hell, Jacob? How does that even happen? You've never
Mellow
had
Mushroom
a
is
Big
pretty
Mac
good.
before either. You've like
Wait, what did you say?
you've never had a Big Mac either. Like there are.
I've had a bite.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. You're like one of the only people that tells me things that I'm like genuinely surprised you've like never tried like a particular restaurant or food item.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of trying new things, I guess. That's why I was trying to do new things a while back. But
Dude, that's like my downfall sometimes. Because I will literally try everything.
yeah, I very much like to
So-
stay safe and do things that I know I like to do,
I feel you.
if that makes sense.
When it comes to food, I'm pretty much the same.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to see Don't Breathe this evening. It's got pretty good reviews. It looks pretty cool, and I like the cast a lot. There's a guy from Avatar's the old guy, and that young kid. It was in
that
Goosebumps,
guy.
and he was excellent in Goosebumps.
I've heard mixed things.
Have you? I've heard nothing but positive. I mean, I've seen like one average review that's like, oh, it was okay. I'm not expecting anything spectacular, but I think it looks like a fun time, and I'm just mostly excited because we're going on a double date, so that's gonna be pretty fun. Yeah. That's all I got going for
Should
me
be
this
fun.
evening.
Sounds cool, man.
Yeah, man.
So, what'd you do?
What I do
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah. Did you already tell us?
Pretty much.
I didn't really talk about
I
what
guess
I
I
did.
quickly summed
Let's
it
talk
up.
about
I mean-
games or whatever. This is a freaking game show, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I pretty much played Deus Ex. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But didn't get to play that Titanfall tech test number 2 yet.
It's not
Hopefully
too
I'll-
late.
It is not too late. I'll probably dive into that later tonight. But did y'all play any of it? I know
I
you did.
did.
A little bit.
I did just a wee bit. Played on the new map. I was actually talking to you on the phone the whole time about this YouTube channel specifically, and I was getting just killed over and over again. But I got to see the map and run around it a good bit. It's just wide open. I'm sure people that have played on it know what I'm talking about. It's just very wide open and large, and there's like big, tall buildings with big openings, like giant garages, essentially, you can run in and out of, and the Titans can run through the middle of them and everything. So I would just describe it as big and wide open. It's much more open space than the other two maps. Even though the other one with the tower in the middle is pretty open, this one feels even more open than that. So it was pretty cool. I didn't have any complaints from the first week of the tech test because I had not really played much of the first one. I played the beta a little bit before the full release back in the day, and so I didn't really got a real taste of Titanfall 1. So going into the tech test, I thought it was a ton of fun. I even made the montage, and I thought the gameplay was great. And didn't feel. I mean, I can understand why some of the complaints, like you were saying, like the grapple hook, people were saying was a little too slow, which is funny because there were countless times, like you said, ride grapple hook and just like just like flying past people, and they'd just easily be shooting at me. I'd just essentially be waving at them as I swung by. But other than that, I mean, even then, I didn't really have many complaints. I thought the guns felt fine and the speed felt fine. Apparently, people thought it was too slow compared to the first one and stuff. So I didn't have any complaints personally, so I didn't really notice much of a difference. Of course, granted, I was talking on the phone the whole time and wasn't doing much of playing. I was just running around. But I mean, I'm going to dive into it a wee bit more before it's over. Just probably for another video and just for fun. But overall, I thought it was a ton of fun. So no complaints from me on this end. So I normally don't complain about anything anyway.
Nice. We're the final say. So.
Yeah. And other than that, I just played Deus Ex as well. I think I've played for a total of like 8 or 9 hours maybe now. And but I've been mostly doing side missions. Whenever they pop up, I'll knock those out. So that's kind of stalled me from the main story. But we'll talk about spoilers and stuff later in the actual review because you've played through it twice, right?
Yeah.
2.5 times.
2.5 times.
Yeah, that's amazing. But obviously, I was so busy with work this week, I barely had any time to play. So I'm nicking away at it. But my first impressions before we get to the review is just I'm loving it. The gameplay's awesome. I can understand why people have complaints here and there with like the dialogue like the voice acting not syncing up with some of the character models and stuff when they're speaking. But I can get over that because the gameplay's a ton of fun. Yeah. And the option of stealth in the game is great, and all the abilities just are fun to use. So for me, it's been great so far. Yeah, that's all I played this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
You played what, Overwatch again?
Yep. That's it.
Nice. I would have liked to play Overwatch this week. I didn't have any
Nothing's
time.
really appealing to me right now, so I'm just playing Overwatch.
Nice.
I'm really enjoying it. Just doing quick play because that's all that's available right now. Really enjoying playing McCree and Zenyatta right now.
Okay.
Just doing a ton of that.
Nice.
And,
You're working on a McCree montage, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess. I've captured like 25 different clips, so
Nice.
it's going to take a while to sort through all that. But I'm enjoying playing, and hopefully something good comes out of the footage. If so, then there'll be a video.
I think so. You got to choose the right song for old McCree.
That's important, yeah.
Mud on the Tires.
Mud on the tires.
Who's that by again?
Brad Paisley.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
That's
You
a
think?
good one.
That'd be great. If you could sync it up to Mud on the Tires,
Ugh,
It'd be funny.
that'd be boring.
I'd love it, but you'll
Playing that
surprise us.
song over and over again.
I trust that you'll make it great regardless of
That's the
tune.
problem with montages, because every time I try to make one, I get sick of the song.
Right.
Listen to it over and over again. Then
Yeah.
I don't like the song anymore.
I feel you.
So, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Nice.
Sounds good, man. Well, that about wraps it up for our mindless talking in the beginning.
Banta.
So,
It's about the same time we usually do for an intro.
yeah, maybe a little bit faster this time.
Yeah.
Just a little bit faster.
We're
Since
keeping it tight.
well, yeah, we're not really going in depth of the games we played because we're kind of saving that towards our main topic of the show this evening. But just a reminder, this is the It's Obvious Gaming Podcast, the show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games. Obviously.
Me and Jacob, we
Nice.
knew that was our chance to go for a quick swig.
Nice.
Uh,
So, hey man, what's the news?
Well, not much this week.
Being very professional this episode.
First on the list this evening is Dark Souls 3, Ashes of, I think it's pronounced Ariandel DLC? Ashes of Ariandel? Is that how you pronounce that?
Ariandel.
Yeah,
Ariandel?
that sounds good.
Did you see the trailer?
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool.
It looked like there was the same bosses. I was confused.
Yes, now there was definitely some new ones in there, but there's also, what's his name? Something of the Storm. It's not Hero of the Storm. It's
Riders of the Storm.
Riders of the Storm.
There was
That's the song I should have used for
the
that.
Nameless King.
The Nameless King.
Yeah,
he was in there.
no.
Vord of the Boreal Valley was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bunch of new ones that looked pretty terrifying. A bunch of new enemies, too. I think those wolves look like they're going to be hard to fight. Because they'll
Guys,
be really quick.
I need to finish that game. That's what I should be doing.
Have either
right
of
now.
you finished that game yet? Get on it.
That's
man.
what I should be doing.
Go kick some ass.
I might once I have nothing to play.
Hey, you're going out of town. Why don't you knock out Dark Souls?
Dude, Deus Ex is my life right now.
I
If I don't
understand.
have that platinum, then I'm not living.
I won't be able to platinum it, I don't think. Just based on what you told me, I don't think I'll have time.
There's 4 online trophies. So depending on my hotel's internet connection,
Right.
I might stick.
Are you
with Dark
flying?
Souls.
Are you going to Texas?
No, I'm not.
Or are you going?
I'm staying in old Georgia.
Oh,
with,
that's right.
Texas.
That's right. You told me
Warner
about that.
Robins, about 2 hours away.
Cool. But yeah, I think the DLC looks really cool. Obviously, I love Dark Souls 3. I've talked about it plenty. So I look forward to playing through it, and hopefully I can get back into it. My character was leveled up very well. Like when I reached the end of the game, I had gone above and beyond to make sure I could beat every boss without problems, because that's what I suffered in Bloodborne, is that I went in because I was new to like that style of gameplay and From Software's games, so I didn't realize when it's like, do you want to wake up now? I was like, that sounds nice, because I've been like through hell in the game so far. So when it woke me up, it's New Game Plus, and I had no clue, and I was like, what? And I had not leveled up nearly high enough, because there were several bosses I had not even fought in my original playthrough, and I had no clue. So I went into New Game Plus, and I fought the very first enemy you fight in the game. That wolf, it was like fighting like the last boss of the game for me, because I hadn't leveled up high enough. So I made sure in Dark Souls, I haven't gone into New Game Plus yet, but I made sure in my original playthrough, I'm like, I'm going to do every solitary single thing I can do to make sure I level up like a ridiculous amount. And I think I'm like level 96 or something, and I beat every boss. So I think going into the DLC, I'll be in good shape. So that's why I'm excited for it, because it should be easy enough to just jump back in and get a feel for the gameplay again and go for it.
Yeah.
But I look forward to the potential stress of fighting these bosses, because there's only a handful in Dark Souls 3 that really pissed me off, the Nameless King being one of them, obviously. And I'll never forget beating him. It was like, You ever get that feeling when you face a boss, specifically in a Souls game or Bloodborne, where you can like just feel this fire in you that's just like burning because you're so terrified of dying for like the 50th time that you can just feel like you're actually fighting for your life. And when you kill the boss, it's like this like thrust and wave of stress and tension and anxiety just like washes off of you. It's like unreal, the feeling. So I'm hopefully I don't have that much of a struggle in the DLC. But that being said, I think it looks great and I'm excited about it. You have guys anything to add to that other than the fact that you haven't beaten Dark Souls 3 yet?
I guess I just have to beat the game first.
Right.
So
That needs to come
I
first.
tried to play Bloodborne's DLC, but the first boss kicked my ass like 30 times.
Right.
And I was, I freaking platinumed Bloodborne. So I like walked in there. I was like, yeah, I'm going to own this DLC.
Yeah.
And just got destroyed.
Yeah.
So
that's my fear of Dark Souls 3's DLC, but we'll see how it goes. I have Dark Souls 2 on my backlog. Lord knows when I'll get to it. It's kind of what I have on my backlog for a while. Like when you said when there's nothing to play, which is going to be no time soon. Like maybe next summer, maybe. We won't have anything to play for a while. But moving on, Resident Evil 7's plot details have been minorly put out there. Just not quite everything, but a pretty good summary of what to expect, which is cool because just last week we were kind of like predicting what we thought it might be. This one comes from...
And just as spoilers, if you literally don't want anything spoiled for you, we have... And I've already, read this, and I'm very spoiler conscious. It's nothing too big, but if you want to go into this game literally completely dark, then probably best to skip ahead.
Yes, good call.
And you can skip ahead to our next topic in the description below.
Yes, we have all of our topics
If you're
listed
on
below.
Spotify or iTunes, well...
Sorry,
man.
Yeah. That's why you should join us on YouTube, subscribe, like the video, and say hello because we'd love to get to know you.
Thanks for listening regardless.
Yes, thank you. This one's from Allegra Frank of Polygon. Bear with me, remember I'm delusional. Quote, the listing whose details are preserved on sites like Jimatsu and Wario64's Twitter feed states that a man named Ethan is the star of Resident Evil 7 in which he explores a, quote, derelict mansion in search of his wife. The name will sound familiar to viewers of the game's latest trailer where a woman is heard calling out to him. Ethan will be equipped with, quote, pistols, shotguns, flamethrowers, explosives, and chainsaws to kill mutant creatures, the ESRB adds. These contribute to what sounds like one of the goriest Resident Evil games ever. Chainsaws can be seen hacking off limbs and dismembered bodies are strewn around various areas. In quotes, or in parentheses, it says, a shovel is also put to good use, the ESRB notes, with a character's face being impaled by one. All will be revealed on January 24th, 2017 when the game hits PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. End quote.
I also heard a leg is also cut off with a shovel as well.
Nice.
That's so metal.
So, yeah, it is pretty metal. It's cool that they do say you're exploring a big mansion, which already sounds a lot like the first one.
It's kind of like what we were talking about last week, where you're finding the tapes in this mansion to kind of further progress or something.
I think that is super cool.
Yeah.
I hope that's what
like
it
I
is.
said, I think that could give you a ton of variation in gameplay.
Exactly.
For one videotape you're playing as that like helpless, girl that you were seen playing as escaping that old woman, and then the next you're playing as some military operative like taking down these creatures or something.
You know what I'd like even more?
Awesome.
I'd like this to be like horrific in the sense that oh my goodness, we keep hitting these pop filters. Thank the Lord we have them. I would love to see it be horrific, one, obviously, because there's always scary creatures in Resident Evil games and horror games in general that freak you out, but I want them to be terrifying in the sense that they're very difficult to kill. I'd love the fact that, like, yeah, I have this big-ass chainsaw, but what if it runs out of gas? Like, I have to have a certain amount of gas to be able to use it effectively and stuff. And say it runs out of gas, all I can do is hit guys with it, and it just way less damage.
That's the scariest part, and I think this is relative because Resident Evil 4 is coming out this weekend, and that's the only Resident Evil game I've only played 4 through 6, so those are the really ones I can only talk about in depth. But that's what was so scary about 4 to me, is because there were these enemies that took so many shots to kill, and they were so hard to kill. That's what was scary, is the resource management was like, I don't have enough bullets to take down this guy, so I have to figure out a way to get past him, or there are too many enemies, and if I don't successfully pull off these headshots, then I'm screwed. That was the scary part, and there were some pretty freaky enemies like the regenerators and stuff. But whereas like 5 and 6 was you could freaking go to war, so that completely that wasn't scary in the slightest. So hearing that there are weapons in here, I really hope they kind of like go about that. There would be some cool missions where it'd be fun, like if you're a military dude, to take down, these creatures easily. But I definitely want that resource management gameplay that I liked so much from Resident Evil 4 to like kind of rear its head in this game at some point.
For sure.
Because that definitely takes, if you have a scary creature and you can blow its head off, it automatically makes it not as scary.
Right.
Whereas if you have to run away from it or like you only have a few shots. So hopefully, that's in this game.
Right. So. Yeah, totally. That's exactly how I feel. It'd just be cool to always be stressing about, man, I only have this many bullets, I only have this much of this, and blah, blah, blah. And
that on top of just being in VR and having these things like popping around corners like in your face, that's going to make it even more freaking scary.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And just the fact, like you said, I'm hoping it is what we're predicting. It's like, oh, how do I progress past this part? I found a tape. Let's see what it is. Run around in another VR first-person scary scenario. And you could make so many varied ones, too, which is cool. So
for the demo we played was in a old house, and then the demo they showed at Gamescom was at like this outside creepy cabin. So they've already shown like two pretty distinct places. So
yeah, I look forward to hearing more about it. But the plot summary that we read sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited.
Yeah,
when does 4 come out? The remaster?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Listening to this. Yep. If you're listening to this on the 29th,
it's only $20, right?
$20.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm going to definitely get that
if
when I get
paid. If you're a Prime
paid.
member, it's like $15.
Really? Okay, maybe I'll do it there.
Yeah. Great game. Really fantastic game.
That's what I'll jump into immediately after Deus Ex is what I'm going to do. I'm excited.
Cool, man.
Moving on, the new DualShock 4 controller is rumored, pretty much confirmed at this point because it's been seen in unboxings, to be included with the PS4 Slim. The description basically is it's seen in various unboxings featuring a gray D-pad, gray shoulder buttons, and a light bar across, and another light bar across the top of the touchpad, apparently.
Wow. I haven't even seen this.
I haven't seen it either. I've just heard in this article they said there's been 3 or 4 unboxings that people did that were like immediately taken down after they got spotted, obviously, but all of them were, there might be pictures leaked online somewhere. I didn't really look into it, but apparently it's a controller with gray D-pad, gray or shoulder buttons and triggers.
Black controller.
Yeah, which sounds pretty cool. And then the light bar across the touchpad, which I don't know what the purpose of that is. I mean, the light bar in general just seems to be like an aesthetic thing.
Maybe it's something to do with the VR.
Potentially, yeah. I will say I know some people have stated that it's kind of pointless, but I think one of my favorite additions to the controller is the touchpad. I know this is like old news because the console came out forever ago, but I think the touchpad is fantastic because it essentially adds 3 more buttons because you can do the right side, the left side, and the middle of it.
Are there any games that actually do that?
I think Killzone Shadowfall did. Like if you swiped up on the right, it would throw like a blade or like a tracker, and the left did something else, and the middle was the map.
It was on Shadowfall?
Yeah.
It was your little robot thing.
That like hovered above you or whatever?
Yeah, you could do like swipe 4 different ways to do different, tell it to do 2 different things. Like
so the only thing that I can really think of that like a game that used the touchpad cleverly was like Witcher with the like swiping up for the map or something.
Right.
Like no one's really like done anything crazy with it.
Final Fantasy 14, it actually on the touchpad you would take control of a mouse on the screen if you wanted to click on certain things. That was cool. On there.
I'm going to have to go deal with that dumb dog. I love him. I shouldn't call him dumb. It's just he's very old and very delusional, so I'm going to have to go tell him and pet him to be like, it's okay.
Just like you.
He's very old. Essentially, yeah, I'm like an old wiener dog.
Technomancer, you could like on your, instead of touching like the D-pad for left or right, you could swipe left or right. So it's kind of like
the touchpad is like the ultimate inventory button. It just
seems like a giant button to me.
Right.
That's pretty much.
That's why I don't really see its use. I guess but, it's a cool feature.
We're kind of at a weird spot for me to have to go deal with the dog, but I'll just read this article real quick, and then that kind of gives you guys time to talk about stuff, and I'm going to go talk to the dog. He might stop if we're lucky. So anyway, the PS Plus subscriptions are increasing for Plus members, which doesn't really stress me out too much. Did you guys get the email about this? I actually got an email about it, and I read it, and I was like not concerned.
I'm canceling my subscription.
Yeah, it's over.
I'm pissed.
It's over. They don't value us as customers. This one's from our best friend Joe Scrubbles of IGN. Quote, Sony has announced that starting September 22nd, PlayStation Plus membership costs will rise for yearly and 3 monthly plans in the US and Canada. Revealed on the PlayStation blog, yearly subscriptions will rise from $59.99 to $69.99. Or wait. Will rise to $59.99 in the US and $69.99 in Canada. A $10 and $20 increase, respectively. And the 3-month subscriptions to $24.99. And there's so many numbers on this. The 3-month subscriptions to $24.99 in the US. Oh, for the US, and then $29.99 in Canada. So essentially everything's going up $10 which isn't a big deal. It's starting September 22nd.
It's
Maybe
$10
for some
over
people.
a year.
Right. Yeah, over a year is nothing. If it was
And
like
the month-
$10 a month, then
Yeah,
that'd be
that's completely different. That's
Right.
like an extra, $120,
Right.
a freaking month. But it's still the same price monthly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's $10 for a year, dude.
I just re-upped mine. So
Now, I
won't
haven't
have to
heard
worry
any
about it.
complaints. I just read this and was
Oh,
just
I've seen
wondering what your
complaints.
thoughts. Oh, have you?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
like, money grubbing. I'm like, $10, dude.
Right.
I mean, they've been charging the same price since they introduced.
Yeah. And I think
PlayStation
that they're gonna.
Plus, so.
I don't have any proof to back this up, but I feel like to improve the service, that could potentially aid that. Because I'm.
Yeah, we'll finally get our name changes.
Yeah, maybe
It's extra money.
But
Dude, I would pay for that.
yeah, like I
yeah.
said, the monthly is still the same. It's just $10 over 12 months, so I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I think people are kind of overreacting for sure.
Okay. Here's a fun question I want to ask to the two of you and everyone listening to this podcast. If they did allow you to change your names on PSN finally, one, would you change your name?
I wouldn't know.
I know you wouldn't because John Poobah's solid. Would you change yours, Jacob?
Maybe.
I would change mine for sure.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
Huh. What would you change it to?
I would like to change it to something that has to do with the YouTube channel, but
Okay.
I don't know what it would be yet.
Okay.
So I would have to
Like,
think about it.
3 losers on the internet.
Yeah.
That'd be a good gamer tag.
Mm-hmm.
PSN name. Alistair Shaft is my name currently, and it was a name that I juggled that name with a few others, because we thought the name thing was funny. Like Zach was Ricky Pringus, and we got John Poobah from a skeleton that we named in a recording studio. We recorded that with our band for several months, and there was a skeleton that had this stupid look on his face, and we called him John Poobah. So that's where John Poobah came from. And then Alistair Shaft. Before that, I had Harold Bucksworth. I had a couple other names I forgot. I had like a whole list of names because this is my first time like starting a new account on PlayStation. I was like, this has got to be good. I just liked the lettering of Alistair Shaft. It was just, I like the A and the S and then just all the mix of letters.
That's like who you are to me.
Alistair Shaft.
Yeah. That's like your persona
Right.
online. It's like, it would be so weird changing it.
You know who I would probably change it to is G-Dog Bilson.
G-Dog Bilson.
G-Dog Bilson. Now, let me tell this story. I don't think I've ever told it on the podcast. This is so funny. Maybe I did. I apologize if I told it before, but I'm going to just reiterate it quickly so people know. When Facebook first launched, I should go back to MySpace. When MySpace first launched, my mom heard all these horror stories of these teenagers getting abducted or kidnapped and abducted. It's the same thing. All these children just getting in trouble with their online accounts because it like put their information out there and these predators were coming after them. So my mom told me, you do not make a MySpace account. You're not allowed to have one. When I was in middle school, I was like, okay, Mom. Of course, I was jealous of all my friends. So I made a secret MySpace account when I was in middle school, and I didn't want it to be my name for 2 reasons. One, I was convinced my mom would find me before the predators did on MySpace somehow. So I made my first MySpace name Korn147. Korn with a K, because at the time I had an obsession with the band Korn. So my first online name was
So
Korn.
edgy, dude.
Korn147. So stupid. I think my profile song was probably some stupid Korn song. But that was my first online persona. And then obviously I got onto MySpace as it was dying, essentially. So Facebook comes around, and all my friends, of course, get on Facebook. And my mom says the same thing. You're not allowed to have any online. And this is before they referred to it as social media. So they're like, you're not allowed to have any online profiles of any sort at all. It's not safe, blah, blah, blah. My mom's put the fear of God in me somehow, just with her words, saying, like, you're not allowed to have one. So I came around to, I just finally caved because everyone in my small group at church had one. They're like, add me on, this is when it was cool to be like, add me on Facebook, dude. And like everyone was doing that. And of course, I didn't have one. So I'm like, I have to make one. So I get on there. I'm trying to think of any name that's enough of my name that people would realize it's me, but at the same time, if my mom found it, she had no clue it was me. So that was always my fear that my mom was going to find me. So I came up with G-Dog Bilson. Obviously, G-Dog is, I thought it was funny at the time, and it's hilarious now. So I was on the right track there.
Where did Bilson come from?
Well, Bilson was the first random last name that came to my head. Like instead of G-Dog Smith or G-Dog Jones, I was like G-Dog Bilson. I thought Bilson worked for some reason. So I was G-Dog Bilson. And I'll never forget our buddy Zach, not the Zach that's been on this podcast, but a different one, knew it was me instantly. It wasn't even a profile of me. He was like, Garrett, you're finally on Facebook or something. I was like, dang it, he knows who I am. It's not working. But G-Dog Bilson has always been so funny to me and so stupid. I'd probably change my PSN name to G-Dog Bilson. But that's my PSN story for the night. So if we ever get the chance, just know I'll probably be changing it.
I had a MySpace for like 2 days. This girl I liked in high school, my freshman year. She's like, add me on MySpace. So I made a MySpace and added her. And she was the only person on there.
Oh wow.
Kind of creepy. If she were to look on mine and be like, I'm his only friend. So that's weird.
I liked a lot of the features of MySpace.
Did you use a lot of MySpace?
Not a lot. I
you were
dabbled
just
in
corn.
it. I got, like I said, you were just corn. I was just a stalk of corn. I got to the point where it was dying, so not many people are on there. But I always thought it was cool how you could customize your MySpace account extensively. Like you could change the background. I had people with backgrounds that had like holographic backgrounds where it was like raining and stuff. I'm like, that's so
I remember when I got
cool.
on Facebook and none of that was like there, and I was like, this is boring.
Yeah. It's like,
where are my top 8 friends?
this is very adult right now. It's very professional.
Where's my profile
I feel
song?
like they
Exactly.
tried to have like a final push for MySpace, and they had like
They redesigned it a little bit.
Yeah, what celebrity was like endorsing it?
I don't know. I just remember that
Like-
Tom guy.
Some rapper or something.
Wasn't
like
your profile
talking
song at
about
one
how it was
point
all
the
cool or
TI
something.
song, Whatever You Like, Jacob? You can
Probably.
have whatever you... I'm pretty sure I
Probably.
went to your profile before we were friends and heard that and was like, man, that guy's probably really popular because he has that song on there. My profile song
what
was...
would you
My top friends were always changing.
What would your
mine was an Offspring song. What's that song called? And it's like, na 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 na. That's the melody.
if Facebook had songs, what would your song be?
Nowadays?
Yeah.
Are you talking about?
It'd probably be something intentionally funny, like a Tim
it'd
and
be
Eric
like some
song.
Nickelback song,
Right,
or something.
right.
Yeah.
Is the Offspring the same band that sings Fat Lip?
No, that's Sum 41.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had an
I don't know.
Offspring song. I had top friends. I think my top friend was like Zach Rivera. Were you on? I don't think I ever added you on MySpace.
No. I had one girl. That one girl.
Yeah, you could have your
Shout
top
out to
friends and
you.
stuff.
She turned out she was really weird, dude.
How so?
She's weird.
She was a serial killer, wasn't she?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's understandable, but yeah, MySpace, good old times. It'd be, it's you got to think it's only a matter. I don't know if I've ever seen a website bounce back. I mean, obviously, movie franchises can be reinvigorated, bands can come back after a time away, but I've never seen a website do that. I'd say it'd be funny if MySpace made a huge comeback and everyone abandoned Facebook at some point, but chances are pretty fat with that one. Moving on, Nintendo America's boss Reggie.
Fils-Aimé.
Fils-Aimé. Is that how you pronounce
Yeah,
it? 'Cause
Reggie
I was going to say
Fils-Aimé.
Phil's aim. What an idiot. But Reggie, old Reggie from Nintendo, I recognize the gentleman.
Yeah.
Says that Nintendo must do this is obvious.
What memes
he
spawn
wins
from him, Garrett?
it's obvious gaming. He wins the obvious quote of the week. This is hilarious. He says Nintendo must do a better job of communicating to the consumers exactly what NX is in order to give the value to its uniqueness and what it means for the game playing experience. And everyone just does the slow clap like, Reggie, you are on it.
Man.
So he nailed it with that quote, but it's very obvious, and he went into more detail saying, like, obviously when we launched Wii U, no one had any idea what it was, and no one understood the two-screen experience. He's like, it just wasn't explained well, and that's why it basically tanked. So he said, this time around, when we present this thing finally, like, we're going to do it right. Now, he says that, and the way they present it may be completely different. We don't know. It's just been a big rumor fest this whole time. Every time I think of NX now, I just think it's funny, because it's just been rumors. So we're waiting for the day it's revealed.
You know the My Body Is Ready meme?
Yes.
Yeah, it's from Reggie.
Is it?
Yeah.
No way.
He spawned that.
No
at
way.
one of his E3 conferences.
That's incredible.
I think they were doing the Wii Fit. And he's like, my body is ready. Like on stage in front of millions.
You got to think it's got to be one, an honor, but also humiliating to be memed, especially when it's a meme that's used
I think
daily.
it's an honor.
Yeah.
Complete honor.
It's an honor.
I'm sure Harambe is just so honored and
Yeah,
thrilled. that he's
those
become the meme
are
of the
some of the
internet.
funniest things I've ever seen. Just when people just get on board with this like giant joke about the gorilla.
I just love these popular videos, and like the top comment is like, if only Harambe was here to see us. So great.
Yeah, it's classic.
I'm sure it's gonna run out eventually, but
Right.
But as
it's
of
always
now,
a
I still
pleasure
find
though
it funny.
when memes like that have a good run.
I think I'm catching on to it way behind. I
Yeah.
think it's slowly dying, but I just found it like
I
a
just
week
found
ago,
it
and I
like
think it's
last
hilarious.
week, too,
Yeah, so
so.
funny.
it is funny, but
At least we're not that late. Like I have a friend who is so late to the party.
I know who you're
with
talking
memes.
about.
It is the cringiest thing ever.
I know you're
He
talking
is
about.
Like,
still,
what's he talking about right now?
he still will do the gay thing out of nowhere, and I'm just like squeezing my butt cheeks together. I'm like, dude, that is so old and just so dumb.
Does he still do What Are Those?
Yes, he does. What are those? He was doing Damn Daniel like
Like a month after.
months after it was over, and he's like, dude, have you seen this Damn Daniel video?
It's like the classic guy that gets on the internet like once a month and like sees something. He's like, holy shit, this is amazing. I'm gonna shock the world.
I might just get on Facebook and things just always survive on Facebook. It's just like a graveyard of crap
like, dude,
content.
have you seen this like troll face?
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious, dude.
The funniest thing is seeing people that think they're finding something for the first time and sharing it like, oh my gosh, and it's like 6 years old.
That's the definition of my mom. She's like,
Yeah.
have you seen this video on Facebook?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, back in 2008 I did.
That's the joke between my girlfriend and I, is that she always, for some reason, I do this thing on Facebook every day where I get on for maybe 30 seconds where I fly down the homepage. Like I'm like zooming like the Flash. I'm going down this page and I'll see everything, all the videos, all the memes, all the stuff to see like instantly in one sweep. And then like that evening, or not even that evening, like a few days later, she's like, have you seen this video? I'm like, yeah, I've already seen it. Or she'll like tag me in a video and I'll be like, this is so 3 weeks ago, and she gets so mad at me. But I just think that's hilarious.
Facebook videos are so bad. Like every time I see a video with the borders at the top and bottom with like people
the writing,
where they're like, my reaction when like my parents brought home pizza too late or something, and it's like a 13-year-old video of like a kid raging or something, like the German kid smacking his keyboard.
And you know people do that because those videos get an obscene amount of shares.
Dude, I read analytics. I'm pretty sure this is what I read. Actually, I am sure. Yeah, they're like Facebook gets more views than YouTube.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's because everyone has a Facebook and it's so easy to just share it and then everyone sees it.
Yeah.
It's like a tidal wave that just builds over time. So.
People will steal content as well and like write their own stupid like thing, and it'll get like 40 million views.
Yeah, that's how you get internet famous for about 5 minutes.
Yes.
And it makes you feel good about yourself.
I'm pretty sure H3H3 did a video on that.
I bet that's great.
About that. I haven't watched it yet, but like they were talking about Facebook video stuff.
I remember that.
I haven't watched it, but I assume it kind of talks about
He was like
that.
making fun of those people that like make videos to they like say you have to like for the trick to work.
Oh yeah, those are
and
awful.
He says to share.
The guy that does like the magic trick and he's like holding up.
He like
the
guesses
cards.
what you're thinking.
Yeah. Oh man, so bad.
Those always make me feel weird. Like
Facebook,
I'm embarrassed.
And he gives you like that weird stare.
Yeah, I'm always embarrassed for the person that's doing those.
Wow.
What is happening?
Go punt kick.
You guys want to talk about the games for gold while I'm
Yeah,
gone? Okay, don't go into PlayStation yet because I want to talk about those with you. I'll be back. I gotta crawl under the table. Oh,
croaky.
Dude, your fanboyism just showed hardcore right there. Don't want to talk about Xbox, only PlayStation.
Yeah, no one really cares about those.
So sorry about these animals barking. They're extra crazy today. So
they're actually wild animals. They're not actually pets.
Yeah, pretty much. So if for some reason in the post editing process that we can't drown them out, we apologize. I hope you still stuck with us because he's going to go probably murder them. So from this point out, they'll be quiet.
Oh my goodness!
Knock your drink over. Good thing this is a good hearty glass.
I know,
that doesn't tip over. But yeah, the gold games with gold September. We got a Earthlock Festival of Magic.
Wow,
that sounds nice. What do you think that game is?
That's probably an RPG.
An RPG?
Yeah.
I bet you $1 million it isn't. They're not giving away an RPG.
Maybe it's like a really crappy.
It's probably
RPG.
some like arcade game with like balls or something you have to connect.
I love how we're guessing what the game is. We have no idea.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Chronicles China.
Oh.
I heard that was a stinker.
Yeah,
but it's free, so
give it a shot, Xbox players.
I feel like that sounds like a decent free game. I would play that if it was on the superior console. We got Forza Horizon. That's an Xbox 360 game that you can of course play on your Xbox One.
I'd like to give that a shot.
And Mirror's Edge.
The first one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Excellent, fun game.
That does sound
in
fun.
some aspects, story mission wise, I think.
Is it enough to turn on the Xbox though?
No. If you're already on the Xbox One, you got nothing to play, which I don't know why you wouldn't, because there's plenty of stuff out. Go play Deus Ex, guys.
Yeah.
I guess if you've beaten everything, totally pick up Mirror's Edge. Yeah, so that's it for the shitbox.
Hey, you want to hear something that I think would be hilarious for a t-shirt design?
What's funny? What's funny?
What's funny?
What's the news?
If we ever made an It's Obvious Gaming t-shirt, I think it'd be funny that it had like the It's Obvious Gaming logo on it, obviously somewhere, and it says, not fanboys, but just subliminally somewhere on the shirt, like microscopic as like a police station logo, just like somewhere random.
Or just Xbox
like
sucks or something.
Yeah, just like very tiny somewhere.
But yeah, that's the joke. Xbox is fine, I guess.
It'd be even funnier if there were Sony logos all over the shirt, but they were very tiny.
Yeah,
Just everywhere.
not fanboys.
This is exciting. The PlayStation Plus, these are just rumored.
Yeah.
Okay, typically these rumors are true.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I'm hoping the first one is true.
Watchdog, if it's Watch Dogs and Shadowfall,
That's crazy.
ladies and gentlemen, that's a fine week right there.
That's worth the $10 increase in the subscription for me.
That's worth
I'd love
the
to play
$10.
Killzone.
That's worth the $10 bump. If we can bump, that's another point. If we can bump the $10 and start getting better games,
Amen, brother.
yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, maybe we can eventually get
Thief.
Second Son.
We're already getting Thief. That's all I care
Dude, that
about.
would be a solid.
I'd love to get
Second
Second
Son.
Son.
Yeah, we already had
It would.
First Light, which that was a solid free game.
It was.
Second Son, of course, it like a month later than I had bought First Light. It was free. But
Yeah.
anyways, Watch Dogs and Killzone Shadowfall. Excellent game, Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah, I never
Really
finished the
fun game.
campaign.
Really fun campaign.
Love the multiplayer.
Game gets a lot of hate for some reason. I don't know. People just hating to hate.
Yeah.
Hating
Fun
to hate.
game, especially as a launch title. Very solid game.
Oh yeah.
Excellent graphics. I remember when we first watched that, we were like, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
that looks pretty." Then Lego Batman 3.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is for the PlayStation 3
Yeah. Probably.
and Driver San Francisco because I know that's a last gen game.
Yeah.
Any Vita games rumored or?
Not that was the only ones rumored on the article I read, but the biggest one for me obviously was Shadowfall because we had talked about for a while back in the day. We're like, we should jump back into that multiplayer just to dabble in it for fun, and I think that'd be cool if we all tried that.
I bought Shadowfall for like $4.99 on a flash sale.
I forgot
a
that
while
you did
ago.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And I missed it.
Unfortunately, I mean $5, sure. I bought that game twice. Bought it at launch. Bought it for $5 again. But I'll hand the sheet back to you for our topic of the show.
Thanks, man. I guess that's all I have to read is topic of the show. Main topic: Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. The review. Spoilers ahead, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care about
Very
spoilers.
minimal spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much story stuff,
We're not gonna
right?
go. We're not gonna go balls deep.
Yeah,
into
we're really just talking about the
what's-
core gameplay experience, pretty much, right?
Yeah, like
from
I'm not,
start to finish.
I'm not gonna name the villain because the villain is like the Illuminati.
Right.
But there is a main villain, so I'm not gonna name him.
Thanks. It's a him.
Yeah. Oops.
There's a lot of hymns in the
Sorry.
game.
He's non-binary. So what else? Oh yeah, like I said, we're pretty much just gonna do a gameplay review. Like I said, I've played it through 2.5. I'm on my final playthrough through for the final 2 single player trophies.
Okay.
I've literally done everything. I've done every side quest. I've pretty much done everything you can in that game. So I was telling you especially, I love this game. I'm at the time in my life with games right now where this is exactly what I want to play. And I was telling you guys before it came out, I knew this is what I wanted to play, and that's why I was so excited for it. So this game, it exceeded my expectations a bit. It's not such a massive leap ahead of... It's definitely better than Human Revolution, but it's kind of like the Fallout 4 to Fallout 3, where the systems are pretty much the same. Just the annoyances I had with Human Revolution aren't really there anymore. There still is a charge delay in the melee stuff, but I really noticed it one time. For the most part, the enemies are spread far enough apart, and I'm trying to sneak past them enough that when I do have to take down a guy here and there, especially if you have some upgrades to your battery to recharge, you can take some guys down. I feel like I'm kind of getting ahead of myself in this review, so I guess I'll just kind of start from the beginning and do like just a gameplay to story review. But it gives you like a pretty decent recap on what happened in Human Revolution. It drops you in a mission. The tutorial's fine. It actually does a pretty decent job of like teaching you the systems. It has a good tutorial system and stuff that takes you by the hand and kind of teaches you everything. But then the game really opens up, and I urge you that if you're kind of not feeling the gameplay style of the first mission, to definitely continue, because the first mission definitely is the worst part of the game, and that's not even bad. Just Deus Ex shines when it drops you down in this hub world, and you kind of just do. It's not like in the sense of do what you want like GTA, but you are coming across side missions that you definitely want to do, because that is a massive part of this game, because there's only really 4 story missions in the game that take place in other areas.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the area you're at right now, which is Golem City, which is referred to a lot. That's where the augmented people are sent, and
it's kind of like District 9, like the movie District 9.
Pretty much. We're in the game, as you can obviously see, just walking around the city, and as you know, you're told in the opening cutscene, the first game, something happened. I kind of forgot, but all the augmented people went on killing sprees, so they're kind of looked down upon and stuff. So the entire point of this game, hence it being called Mankind Divided. Yeah, what's up?
Is it kind of like Thief, where you just walk everywhere and you're in this world? You just walk to all the missions and stuff.
Yes, but it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not. You're not like going through windows and there being loading screens and stuff.
Right.
It is.
I forgot about that. Dang.
Yeah. This I wouldn't say this is like the epitome of next gen gaming either, because there are segments of the city you actually have to take a train to. But once you're in that segment, there's no loading, which is what my favorite thing about the game is. And it's why I like Human Revolution so much is you'll get a mission. And it'll be like, hey, you need to break into this person's apartment and steal this thing. And it makes you feel... It gives me a feeling that I've never had in another stealth game of just... I don't know if it's just the environment of you just being in an everyday city, that you're not in some like secret base or something, but just the act of figuring out how to just break into somebody's apartment is freaking awesome. You can hack their keypad to get inside. You can find a vent system to get inside. You can literally, if your jump's high enough, you can literally jump up to their window and open the window and stuff. Like there's just a variety of choices in every single mission that you do. There's missions like, oh, you have to break into this bank. It's not like, oh, we're going to go to the bank level. It's no, there's this bank here. You literally walk in the entrance. There's people talking and stuff. And there are segments of the bank that are off limits. And you can either turn invisible and go past the lines, or you can just walk around outside the bank and find like a breakable wall you can bust through and sneak in the back. It is just the variety of like choices and stuff depending on your character play style and stuff is like pretty huge. There aren't like infinite possibilities or whatever, but there are enough to make you feel like based on choices you've made with your character that it just makes you feel like you're in control.
It's enough there to keep it interesting, so you're not doing the same thing every time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are I've beaten the game 2.5 times. I'm still finding different pathways, and I'm like, oh, that's way easier than the way I did it the first time. So it's just really cool. If you have the correct augmentation that you've equipped your character with, it'll make this section of the game easier, but it'll make this section of the game harder because you, instead of picking another augmentation, you picked another one. So there's kind of like that balance, especially when you're not a New Game Plus and you actually have to pick. You don't have enough upgrade points to upgrade everything, whereas New Game Plus mode, dude, that's where it gets really fun, is because you can literally just do everything. You feel so overpowered, and it's just so fun. Like if you see somewhere, or if you want to hack something, like you can just do whatever, and it just makes the game super easy. So that's fun, but it's also fun, being limited in what you can do and stuff. But as far as gameplay goes, it's very much promoted to be a stealth game. You can play it, and it supports you playing it, going guns blazing, if you want to. There's like Titan shields that you can completely outfit your character with, to where you can withstand a lot of damage. There's shotguns, there's rifles that you can completely outfit with like lasers and silencers and scopes and things like that. There's not like an extreme abundance of weapons like a Call of Duty game or something, but they're definitely, if you want to make some noise, you can definitely go in there, and like with bombs and stuff, you can go crazy if you want to. But the game definitely promotes and rewards you being non-lethal and not being seen. You even get, if you take out a guy, if you're like behind cover and pull a guy in and knock him out, you get more points than if you just shoved your really cool arm blades through his chest. So it definitely promotes that play style. And I actually haven't played Guns Blazing yet, so I can't really speak to like, oh, how does the gunplay work and stuff like that, because I don't think that you'll get the most out of the game if you play that way. But it's there. It gives you the choice to do that, and it's not like sidelined. Like they definitely through the augment tree, like with fast regenerating health, and the Titan shields and stuff, and they have this typhoon thing where you like throw bombs around you and you can clear out an entire room. It definitely promotes killing, but not really. It promotes killing through that, but it definitely rewards you playing stealthier. So I think
you level up faster.
Yeah, you
too.
level up faster. So so that's kind of gameplay wise. Story wise, it's a fine story. I think it's the tension between the normal people and the augmented people. It doesn't exactly. I don't feel like it. The ending, it doesn't feel as like important. It's a smaller story than Human Revolution felt. I think that there are a lot of lives at stake. Of course, it just kind of feels smaller on a scale. Whereas Human Revolution ended with just like augmented people killing everybody. This one kind of doesn't get to that level. But the villain's cool. You've actually already met the villain. I'm sure you can kind of figure it out, but it doesn't kind of like, you kind of like have to discover who is behind. Like essentially there are these terrorist attacks going on, and everybody's blaming this augmented, they're called ARC, this organization that's like fighting for augmented people's rights and stuff. They're kind of blaming them for the terrorist attacks, and you have to figure out like, oh, are they doing the terrorist attack or not? So there's that in the story. It's a fine story, but this game, I'm so like, this game has me wrapped around his finger purely based on just the stealth gameplay, and specifically just the gameplay of like I said, I've never had a feeling, and I have a hard time trying to explain it, but just being in the city and being like, hey, you need to go here, and just breaking into it just makes you feel like such a badass. Totally. And that's why I can't get enough of this game, is because I just love that just sensation of breaking in, and I just think the animations are cool of doing takedowns and like hiding the bodies, and like I'm really into the stun gun. I have it fully upgraded, just like popping people in the back and like hiding them and stuff. It's just really what I want to play, and after 2.5 playthroughs, like I still want to play that. And now, is there anything I really didn't touch base on that, like
not that I can think of? I mean, there's plenty I can add to it, just bouncing off of you, just purely from, I mean, I'll start with the whole sense of the lore, I should say. I'm not heavily invested in like the story, everything before Mankind Divided, but the recap gave me enough information to have a general understanding of what's going on. So, in a sense, I've mentioned this before, smaller stories have always intrigued me more than like big bangs. And now, at the end of the game, I might feel differently. I don't know. And obviously, I haven't played Human Revolution. Now, I've seen the recap.
I think I might have downplayed it a little bit. It definitely is big, but it doesn't seem like the world's at stake.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I kind of like stuff like that. The fact that, if I'm assuming correctly, it might be different, as I said, when I get to the end of the game, but the fact that it's kind of like a conspiracy type thing going on, like who's doing what's happening, it's just kind of getting to the bottom of it. I think it's cool. And I like mysteries like that, trying to figure stuff out. But the gameplay is great, like you've been saying. I mean, some of my favorite moments so far, I assume I'm on like the second main mission. When you were watching me, is that the second mission? Because it feels like it's the second mission.
The second mission.
Okay, because I've just
like I said, there's only 4 of those type of missions.
Okay.
And that was pretty long mission. A bulk of the game is doing those side missions.
Right.
And they evolve. Like when you take a side mission, you go back to the city you're in 3 times. One time in the day, one time at night, and another time where something else happens, and it kind of changes the gameplay in the city. But those side stories actually affect some of the main story. Like I'm sure in the mission you were in, a guy that you previously talked to asked you to do something for him, maybe? Well, actually, no, I saw the Let's Play. And if you would have successfully engaged in the conversation, check out our Let's Play, with that guy that you went to go get the calibrator from, if you would have had a successful conversation with him, he would have taken you under his wing and kind of given you missions, and the mission you were just on, he would have asked you to do a task for him and stuff. So everything bounces off each other. Like I was telling you, if you go a guy that fixes you up when you go through an explosion in the beginning and your systems get all messed up, and you go to a guy and he tells you need a particular tool to fix yourself, you can actually go get that tool before he even asks you for it. And he will recognize, he'll ask you for it and he'll be like, oh, I already have it right here. And I'll be like, oh, dang. And that completely cuts out that entire side mission.
Okay.
Granted, that screws you up from getting missions from the guy that gives it to you.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense to people that haven't played the game. I'm purely just talking to Garrett since he knows what I'm talking about. So sorry if you feel alienated. But I guess what I mean from that is that there are some decisions purely in the main story. There's like really one big decision. Well, I guess kind of 2, But in the side missions, you can like kind of I remember seeing an interview where the playtesters had to play out like every single like, oh, I have this item. Does this mess up this item? Like they had to literally keep every single thing in mind, that if you knew this password, if you had this particular item, it doesn't mess up the game, and the game keeps going and stuff. So that's really cool as well, seeing everything kind of play off from what you've done. Like if I found out some information to blackmail a guy before I even knew what it was, and when the circumstances came up, I was like, holy crap, like I already have that, and it played out. He was like, oh, you already have it. Like it's just cool seeing that, whereas if I were making the game, I probably wouldn't have thought about that, and the game would be completely broken right there, which is my main fear with games like this, is me accidentally bugging it from me exploring too much. And from what I've seen, and I've heard in interviews, they've literally accounted for every single situation that could happen in this game, and yeah, there aren't any bugs, and that's great. After playing No Man's Sky, it is so fun to just play a game that doesn't bug out and crash on you all the time. So that's good too.
And very impressive game design when people can pull that off. Not only with great gameplay, but the fact that everything's intertwined and so many different things can play out differently, and just the fact that they've calculated all of those things is always very impressive. But I will say, I want to just talk about, since I haven't even come close to finishing the game, I'll talk about some of my favorite experiences that have stood out to me as to why I'm enjoying it so much. Like you said, the side missions, I like how they're lengthy, and like you said, they can all kind of intertwine together. But the one experience I had where, I'll keep it brief and not go into too much detail, but essentially there's this neon drug in Prague that's run
Neon.
Is that a song?
Yeah, it's a oh boy,
Demi Lovato's song.
Is it?
No.
Does she have a song called Neon?
Yes, we're calling like Neon Lights or something.
Oh,
like
okay.
It's that guy that sings I'm totally blanking right now.
Wow, Jacob.
He's really popular. He's
CeeLo Green?
no, he's a
I don't know why that
he's a
guy
guitarist.
Slash.
No,
Jack,
no, he's
what's his name? Jack White? Is his name John?
No,
White?
it's
Jack
close. Gosh,
It
just
doesn't
keep
matter.
going. I'll remember.
Okay, I'll remember eventually. But neon is the drug that's run rampant in the city. You're kind of trying to track down the source of it and the dealer and blah, blah, blah. Like Preston said, go break into this apartment. It was awesome because obviously there's a bunch of different routes to get in, but I ended up going into the window. You had to open the shutters, and I had that augmentation where you can like open it from the distance. So I opened it.
See, I didn't. So I had to break into an apartment next to her and like
find a vent or whatever.
Vents and stuff.
Yeah, because I noticed before I realized I had that augment, I had busted into the next door apartment and found a vent that I was trying to jump into, but my jump wasn't high enough yet. So I could tell like, oh, I need to upgrade that. It's just cool to find spots where you're like, oh, I would need this to do that before you have it. But ended up opening the window with my augment, and I get inside, and I love how instantly it's like, you don't belong in this house. This apartment doesn't belong to you. So I instantly go onto the computer and hack it and turn off the security, which I think is cool. It's just because you could just stay in there, and the cops will literally show up and like shoot at you, which is awesome.
That on accident,
yeah. Which is awesome. So I immediately disable the security, and she's like, oh, welcome home, so-and-so. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I go in and read all the emails, and like, usually I'll read all, if I'm in like a random area and I'm not doing an actual mission, if it's like a random apartment, I'll just like skim the email. But all these, since it was part of the mission, I was like extensively reading them, and I understood kind of what was going on. It's just, they're almost talking in code, essentially. This person who had emailed the guy's apartment who I was in was like, you need to blah, blah, blah. Also, you need to call some cleaners. Your place is disgusting. So I knew that was code for more than just, his place was gross, but I was like, that's code for something else. I know it is. So obviously I searched the place, and there's like a dead body in an apartment. I'm like, oh, dang. I read the emails. They're like, man, this girl just like, we gave her the neon and she freaked out. We don't know what it was. Long story short, it turns out these augmented people, I think it's when the neon hits with neuropozyne or some other drug, they have this chemical reaction and they go nuts and it kills them. So obviously we're trying to get to the bottom of the source so we can stop this. But I'm in the apartment. It's like, you need to call the cleaners. So I realized, I'm like, I bet, because I couldn't figure out where to go after this. I'm like, I bet I have to call the cleaners, and like something's going to happen and it's going to like lead me somewhere else. So I called the cleaners and I waited for a while, nothing, because I thought it'd be fun if I like called the cleaners and I like hid in the bathroom with like my stun gun ready and like people actually come in. I was hoping that would happen. It doesn't. It turns out you have to like leave and come back later. So I come back and there's like a symbol with like a mound of this neon, and the guy's place is spotless when I get back, which is really cool. It kind of reminds me of Breaking Bad in a way. So get in, you find the neon. Long story short, you go and find it and do all this cool stuff. But just the fact of just finding a way in and then reading just the little things like, this apartment doesn't belong to you, and disabling the security. And the first time I goofed and the cops came, like I thought that was really cool how you could just mess up and die like that. Little experiences like that have been cool. And I like also how there's been more than one mission now, specifically most recently the main story mission I did where you're climbing in Golem City. I love the aesthetic of the game too. Like Prague is really cool as is, but Golem City is awesome to me because it doesn't look anything like District 9, but it gave me a District 9 vibe in the sense that all these augmented people are basically stranded here because they've either been sent here or their children have been born here and like all these are growing up in this terrible place and they're all kind of trapped here. It's hard for people to get out of there, just oppressed by the police force there. And I just think it's cool and it was cool just to walk through the city and hear people having conversations with each other and going through like the different districts of the city. And I like the fact that it's all these like giant, like I don't know how to describe it, like crates stacked on top of each other and just the lighting and it was just really cool to me. So I like the aesthetic of that place. But essentially you go to this mission, like you said, ARC, I think it stands for like Augmented Rights Coalition or something.
Something like that.
And you're trying to get to the boss because you think he's the one behind all these terrorist attacks. So you're climbing this tower and just countless different ways to climb this tower, which I thought was so cool. And I discovered that because I'm sure you do the same thing. I have like multiple saves, like just in case I goof, I want to be able to go back as far as I can. So I had like 6 different saves and like 6 different pathways I was experimenting with going up this building. 1, out of curiosity, and 2, I would go one way and I would keep getting caught. Or I was just like too complicated to do something, or I'd be missing an AUG I might need. So obviously I found the one I wanted to do, but it was cool. That's when I initially upgraded my AUG to jump higher, which is so helpful because there were several times I'm like, there's a ledge where I can just bypass all these people if I can jump high enough.
My second playthrough, that was like the first one I got. That
Right.
and the being able to jump from how far, like any height, those two are like essential in this
Right,
game.
right. Yeah, I noticed that. Because I bought the Icarus landing was the first one I bought. One, because I figured I'd be jumping off stuff, but then you also told me on the phone, you're like, buy that because you're going to need it. And it helped me a ton in this mission. But it was so cool at one point where I was really high up. I'd obviously leapt all the way essentially to the top of this complex. And I still had a long way to go to get to where I needed to be. But I was looking down, there's like 2 or 3 guys down this, like a slender tunnel, just like straight drop, like 5 stories, like all the way down into this basement where a bunch of guys were. But it looked like at the bottom, there was going to be a path to go through, like a vent to get to where I needed to go. So I'm like, this is going to be cool. So like Batman Begins style, when he like drops down that building with all the cops in it, I essentially fly down, turn myself invisible, and Icarus land, like, but I'm invisible. And they're like, what was that? They're like, was that damn cat again? So they're all like circling the room. And I'm just like,
The cat.
yeah, I'm like sneaking through invisible, and I go through a vent and get through there. I just thought it was so cool to have this badass landing, but I'm invisible. They can't see me, and I snuck through.
You could have pushed Icarus Strike and just would have smashed the
Now,
ground.
does that just knock him out, or does it kill him?
I think it kills him.
Okay.
You would have just laid out like
Right.
3 dudes.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah, it's fun though because I've not the only time I've knocked out anyone so far in the game was the very first tutorial mission, because it's like, this is how you knock people out. I was like, oh, that's cool, but for the most part I've been ghosting it, as in like I don't even lay a finger on anyone if I can. So it is very rewarding in the sense that you can get past everyone. It just feels cool. Even in any stealth game, I like just getting past. No one has any clue you've been there. But it also was really cool when I get to this boss I was searching for, and he's like, I knew you would come, or one of you would come. He's like, by the way, thank you for sparing my men.
Yeah.
And it's like, because he's like, they're just doing their jobs. It's like, I love when games address things I've done in gameplay. Like, narrative sense, like from other cutscenes, it's like, oh, in that cutscene, your character did this, and now they're referencing it. But when you do something in gameplay and a cutscene references it, that's like my favorite style of immersion. Like, that's when you feel like you're really making an impact on the story. So little things like that have been awesome to me. And obviously, as I said, I haven't progressed very far, but little moments like that have been awesome. And that's why I'm always eager to come back to it. I've been so busy with work that I've had no time. Hopefully next week I'll have more time. But the little spurts I've had playing it have just been an absolute blast. And that's why I just wanted to sit down and play. I was playing it before we shot this podcast, and I'm at a cool part where I won't spoil this part, but essentially something happens to this boss, and we had this, well, he dies, spoiler alert. But we were taking his body, and I would just throw him across the room unintentionally. I didn't realize how much strength I guess I have, and we thought that was the funniest thing. I was just throwing him across the room. Preston's like, you can take this back door and throw him off the balcony. I'm like, we're totally doing that after the podcast. But the game, gameplay-wise, is fantastic, and the little bits and pieces I've seen of the narrative playing out based on decisions I've made, conversations I've had, and gameplay choices I've made, seeing it all have an impact is very satisfying. So overall, like we said before, gameplay is what always keeps us coming back, and right now I'm hooked. I don't know if I'll platinum it, because obviously I've been so busy that it'll be a miracle if I can even pursue that.
This platinum's pretty in-depth. Like, I legit had to write out, I have 3 pieces of paper.
Right.
And I, like, some trophies unlock with some decisions you make, and like I had to make certain save files to like go back and make different decisions to get them. So it's a pretty you have to, I wouldn't say it's hard to platinum. You just have to, when you start, like especially like your second playthrough, you have to realize what you did or didn't do in your first playthrough and kind of knock it out that way. But I knew halfway through my first playthrough, I told you that there are a few games, and you know, the last game that I really got this feeling with was Doom and Fallout 4. We're playing the game, I'm like, this is fun. Like I'm loving this right now. Like I told you I played through Doom like 3 times to get the platinum, and I did not even care. It did not even faze me. And that's exactly how I'm feeling with this game. Is like I unlocked, when you beat the game the first time, it unlocks a difficulty called I never asked for this. And I was telling you about it on the way here, that if you die one time, it just deletes your save. And typically in a game, I'd be like, oh, that sounds like BS. But this, I'm like, heck yeah, like I want to do that. Like I've played it through twice. I think I can actually do it. Of course, I'm not crazy enough to where I don't, you know, transfer or copy the save file to a USB stick.
All right.
In case I die, and I've already died, of course, which I told you I was running across rooftops. I actually bought the guide online, the download, to show me where one of the collectibles are, ebooks, because I can't find a suitable guide online with them, so I thought I'd buy it. So I'm, you know, running around Prague just finding these ebooks, and I get to an apartment that I hadn't been to yet. And like the alarm system one you were just talking about, I walk in and I turn around and I see the shutters are down, and I'm like, what the heck? And I turn around and there's this weird locker with like a pipe coming out of it. I'm like, what the heck is this? And I open the locker and there's a bomb counting down. I'm like, what the heck?
That's awesome.
So I'm like running around the apartment, like trying to figure out a way out. And eventually I find like a switch and I turn everything off and like all the shutters go up. And I'm like, dang, I'm getting out of here. So I run and jump out of the balcony. And literally as I'm Juck, I go, fuck. I knew I hadn't upgraded the Icarus landing,
right,
which lets you jump from any distance, and I hit the ground, die, and it's like save deleted. It's like, are you kidding me? I just spent like 3 hours running around this city, like getting all the collectibles,
right,
and thankfully I had, you know, it on a stick, but it was like 2 hours earlier, so I had to replay that 2 hours. I was able to do it faster though, because I actually knew what, you know, what I was doing. But
now, can you save on the USB stick at will, like whenever you want?
Yeah, you have to go to settings and copy it over. But on that difficulty though, you only have one save slot, so you have to just keep overriding. You can't have like up to 6. You can only have one. So it's fun. But like I said, I've played. I'll have to
the ins and outs of it.
Oh yeah, dude, I know literally all the best pathways. I have to show you. There's a pathway where there's like 8. What's that? You actually pronounced it correctly. I never even tried to pronounce it correctly. That Neuropazine, dude. I found a whole hidden stash I can show you, because you know it's only good for selling.
Yeah.
And it gives you 1,000 credits per. So
really?
I can get you at least like 10,000.
Okay.
Credits like that, and I can show you where it is.
Here you go, Jenson.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'll throw you a bone. But anyways, yeah, Jay, do you have any questions not having played the game?
I mean, I did, but you guys did such a good job of, you know, recapping this whole experience. I just had some gameplay questions, but you pretty much covered them.
And this is a huge. It's not like a game like Skyrim, but it's a pretty massive game. So at the beginning, I apologize if I kind of rambled on a little bit, because I was having so many things like enter my brain, because I've like literally been playing this game nonstop, and everything was just like flying out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But in the end, I really do recommend this game. And one of our followers actually sent me a message on PSN asking like if I would recommend this game, and I totally recommend this game if you are. I don't know what you're gonna get out of it as a shooter, but if you're into stealth games, absolutely. Like this game is an RPG, but it just has, I'd say it's like a kind of like Destiny was a shooter with RPG tendencies. It's kind of like a stealth game with RPG tendencies.
Right. Just the upgrading tree itself is RPG-ish.
Yeah, but it is definitely like gameplay wise, it's definitely more, you know, FPS, like stealthy. If you liked Thief along the lines, definitely give this. This is bounds beyond Thief. I'm talking about the latest iteration of Thief. I can't really say the originals. I never played. But as far as stealth games go, and we're very vocal on here about how much me and Garrett especially love stealth games. This is the best one I've played in a long time, like a long time.
Would you say like since Dishonored?
Yeah, I think this is better than Dishonored. Stealth game wise.
Wow.
Like I said, and I got the same feeling during Human Revolution. I really like Dishonored, but it's like you're in areas that you have to be sneaky the entire way. It's just like, I don't know if it's just like like I said, I don't even know how to explain it, but you're just walking through the streets and there's a sectioned off area by police and you just sneak in there and you sneak out with nobody seeing you and you're just back in the streets. Like that's just such a cool thing that not a lot of games do.
Yeah.
Skyrim does it okay. The AI sucks in it. Whereas Deus Ex has had really cool AI. From what I've done, if they see you, like they'll be like, go check it out. If they see a dead body, they'll run over it and sound the alarms and stuff. There are snipers perched up at some places and they'll like see you from far away. I'm sure I actually did saw a pretty funny bug with like the AI not detecting him. He was like literally walking up to people and they didn't see him. But as far as, you know, what I've played, the AI has been very good and it's caught me, you know, when I made dumb mistakes and stuff.
It's been impressive for me, especially in the mission I just did, the main story mission. They would spot me easily from places. The only time I thought it was funny is when me and Jacob did the Let's Play and the guy at the soul patch and the casino we were in or whatever was like right there and we were just 5 feet away from him. I had no clue. It's like, that's like where you have to suspend your disbelief in some stealth games where your head is basically over the cover and it's like they can't see you.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it could kind of get annoying too if it's like so real where, because of course you're gonna be like, oh dude, I see your boot sticking out and stuff.
I see
like,
the tips of your hair sticking out.
Yeah, but there's enough immersion, like you said, when the guy's like, I see you spared all my people, and just little hints like that, like, oh, you're acknowledging I did this.
Yeah.
And that's just a big part of the game, is like I was talking about, like, oh, I acknowledge that you already did this thing in the first place, so therefore, you know, I'm gonna advance the story based on that. So yeah, dude, I love the game. I can't wait to go back and play it. Like, I've been playing it nonstop, and I definitely hope there's DLC like there was for Human Revolution. And we didn't even touch on it. There's like an online mode called Breach Mode, and there's a section of the game where you actually hack into a computer called the NSA or something like that. Or no, something NSN or something like that. Yeah. I think it's NSN. And it reminded me of the Minecrafty part we were talking about from Far Harbor, whereas you're in like a digital space. It is done so much better, dude. It has the same gameplay elements of like you're like a guy sneaking through this data thing, downloading things, but you're having to sneak past security cameras, you're having to hack with your arm things to like build bridges and stuff.
Now, this is an online mode, as in you play with other players, or is it just like for
No,
scores?
I don't think so. This is actually part of the single player.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking, I was like, this is really cool. Like, I wouldn't mind them doing this more. And lo and behold, there's a mode called Breach Mode, which is essentially that, but with actual missions and stuff. You have to be online for some reason. I don't think there's any online play with other people. But I read, when I was reading through the Platinum Guide, the guy that was playing the game and wrote the guide out said that his game was completely bugged, that it kept freezing at a particular mission. So I'm kind of eerie to continue in that until I've seen the thumbs up that it's okay to, you know, dive into that. But I played a few missions and it was really fun. Like your character looks pretty cool and you can like customize your augments and stuff, and you actually can play pretty worry free if you get caught and stuff in that mode, because, you know, that's not the whole point, is to not be seen and stuff. So but yeah, like I said, I'm playing through my third time, probably my final time. After I beat it, I'll have all the single player trophies, and I will look back on this game in good, yeah. I will look back on this game fondly. That's what
there
I
you go.
say. Just like I did Human Revolution.
Right.
I'm getting like I said, I would actually love to play through Human Revolution again and kind of platinum that game, but that's not going to happen. But
so do you feel like your itch is it's been
scratched?
Yeah,
it's
like,
being scratched.
Do you need more? Can you like itching?
Are you
for
scratching it to the point
now?
where you like bleed, but it's satisfying?
Yeah. Is it the scab or is it still?
Once I'm done with this playthrough, I think
will it be a scar? You think? Fun fact: I have a heart-shaped scar on my arm right here. You can't really see it on the video because it's so small, but that right there is from when I had a mosquito bite there in high school. And I just was so bored in my geometry class that I would scratch it all day long, just scratch it.
Wow.
And it kept scabbing, and I kept scratching the scab off for like weeks, and it's scarred, and now it's that like heart. You can't really tell, but it's a heart shape right there on my arm. So is it going to be like that when you're done?
It will, because
Okay.
I will look at my arm and be like, wow, Mankind Divided was a great game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I want that scar to be there.
You know what you should do, Preston?
What?
You should get
A tattoo?
a tattoo memorabilia of every game you've ever platinumed and turned it into a sleeve.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty
Just
gnarly.
the names of the game or the characters?
No, like just anything from the games, like a symbol, a character,
That'd be a pretty cool
quote.
sleeve.
It could be, yeah.
that'd be
I was
cool.
at first I
You're
was
a big fucking nerd.
at first I was kidding, but when you think about it, that could be
That
done
would
like
be
really cool.
If I could, like I said, I would totally get a sleeve if I could remove it.
Right.
But alas,
Would
we're not there yet.
Would you get a video game tattoo if like this YouTube channel was ever successful?
dude. If
I'd get It's Obvious Game on
If
my
we hit
butt.
1 million
Nice, me too.
subscribers, I would get our logo on my ass cheek.
All of us would.
Not even lying.
Yeah.
On my ass.
You've heard it here first, folks.
It's gonna be
If
so
this
painful.
channel hits, Lord willing, it'd be a miracle. It'd be a huge miracle.
I'm not talking like 1,000. I'm talking like
A million.
Legit 1 million subscribers. I will get our logo on my right butt cheek.
No, all of us will get it together and hold hands while we get it.
Okay.
Like I'm not even kidding.
I'll get on my butt cheek.
It will happen if we hit 1 million. So
How big
fat
does
chance,
it have to
but-
be? Like whole butt cheek?
I'm thinking
No,
like
no.
that big.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that would suffice.
Yeah.
So-
Our parents
You could do it right
our
on
parents
the
would be proud of that.
right on the butthole.
Ooh,
Right where the O is.
Yeah.
Oh my!
The O.
Dude, I read somebody did that.
Ow.
What, tattoo on the butthole?
Yeah, the chick was talking about how like that was her thing. That's how she got off, was pain. She loved pain, and that like got her off was her getting her butthole tattooed.
Interesting. I like pain when I take a shower.
Interesting.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to take a look later. No, I love pain when I take a shower. I like the water
Like
to
the
burn
hot?
me. Yeah,
Dude,
I like it to burn me.
it burns at first. It's like and then
Then you get used to it, yeah.
I've been really into cold showers lately.
Fuck that, dude.
Like right
That
after you
is-
get out of the gym, you just
Now
get that
that-
cold shower.
Can't
It feels so
can't do it.
nice, dude.
Can't do it. I have to after I work out. I have to sit there for like an hour. and
I can
kinda
do
just-
No, you just gotta
lukewarm.
get in. You just gotta be like, this is gonna suck at first, but once I'm in there for like 10 seconds, it's gonna feel so good.
I've only done that once in my life,
Crazy
and it was in the
people.
Philippines, and it was the most amazing feeling ever because it was like 99 degrees and the humidity was through the roof, and it felt like absolute relief. It was like getting in a pool. Like most times I get in a cold pool in my life, it's been like the worst feeling I've ever experienced. Like it's agony. Like getting into any pool is hell for me. But this was the most relieving feeling. It was like ice cold water, and it's the only time in my life where I jumped in and was satisfied by that feeling. But all other times I want to kill myself because it's terrible. What were we talking about before that? The scratching the itch. I wanted to add a couple more things. Adam Jenson. I know a lot of people have been like, Adam Jenson's cut and dry. He's boring. I just kind of like his attitude.
I almost cut in those things just for this review.
What things?
On the beard, he has those. Like,
Oh, really?
It's the wrong
Really?
side.
Well, I wanted it to
Jacob
be the
hates
sides
the
of
beard.
camera.
Yeah, I hate that. It
I
looks
love his
stupid as
beard.
well.
That looks cool.
It looks futuristic to me.
It looks cool.
Like, that's the thing.
Looks like a douchebag.
No, the first time I
Dude,
ever...
Adam Jensen would fucking rip your head off. How
sure he would.
dare you?
I will say the lore is cool in the sense that everyone recognizes that there's something different about him. They see his like augmented arms and legs and his eyes and everything. They're like, that's expensive.
Dude, at the last level, this isn't a spoiler,
Uh-huh.
but your dude tells you, he's like, you're gonna want to wear your coat on this one,
No,
just to like
that's
cover
awesome.
everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
That's cool. That's the thing. When I first started, I was like, this guy's kind of funny because he's like the generic, like, yeah, I'm like whatever about stuff, and like I'm the badass, I know. But just the more I've played, the more I'm like, Adam Jensen's cool.
He's cool.
Yeah.
He's cool.
Something, and even like the sunglasses are just cool for some reason. But yeah, the more I played as him, the cooler I thought he's become. And I love how even the cops, other augs, anyone just sees you and they're like, that's some expensive stuff.
I like
you
when
got
they
on
ask
there.
for your papers, especially towards the end. I've noticed you can skip the papers. If you just go through the AUG line, they don't ask for your papers. They only ask for your, and granted, just to clarify for people who haven't played it, there are these train stations that connect all the areas of the hub. And there's a normal people line and then an augmented people line. And if you go through the normal people line, they will always ask for your freaking papers.
Okay.
So go through the augmented people line to get past that.
That's cool. That's like a little detail I didn't realize that's what it was.
But before, towards the end, once you start getting higher clearance and stuff, I think that's what it is, because I don't remember them saying things like this at the beginning. But they'll look at your paper and be like, sorry, sir,
Yeah.
like move on and stuff.
Yeah.
So
It is cool. But I love the sense that you're like the special augmented person that's like hired by all these
people
secret
have like
organizations.
like, oh, I have a fake leg and stuff, and you're like a freaking walking like tank.
You have like an arm blade and guns, and your eyes do all these crazy things. That's what I wanted to get to. Was I texted you like 10 minutes into the game. I was like, holy crap, this is so rich. The lore is so rich. This would be like the ultimate video game movie. Because think about this. When people see video game movies, obviously everyone wants to see a good movie. They want to see the characters they love and the game they love supported. That's an honorable way. That's just enjoyable to see on the big screen. Has that ever been done like perfectly? No. But this has a very good chance of being excellent. Because think about it, everyone wants to see a video game movie. They want some sort of callback to gameplay, even if it's like the smallest hint, like an Easter egg. For example, they had that big behind-the-scenes look at Assassin's Creed's what are they
Leap of Faith.
Leap of Faith, yeah, and which is very impressive, by the way. That the fact that that's practical is like, man, that's respectable. Because in the trailer, it looks fake because it's all the CG around him.
Yeah, I'm sure there's CG all around him.
Yeah, but the fact that he literally jumped off that giant tower is awesome. But that's an example of like people want to see like a little hint of the gameplay in a movie just to be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Well, think about this game. Everything you do is justified in a movie. Now, I've already casted Adam Jenson. Keanu Reeves, obviously.
Of course.
He looks like him, not only with the sunglasses, but Adam Jenson is Keanu Reeves. It's plain as day. So he's essentially a robotic or cyborg, like augmented John Wick is basically what he is. Now, that alone, I can already see Keanu Reeves in the role. It's very easy to put other characters around him because they're, for the most part, generic, but not in a bad way. It's just the generic, like, I'm the task force director, I'm the guy who works on you, blah blah blah. It's easy to cast characters like that, but the fact that all of your abilities are justified, even in the movie, his eyes, the fact that he has a hood is all built into his fake eyes, all of his weapons that he has at disposal, the fact that he can jump high, all these powers he has are all based in the lore and based in like these augments you have. So it's very easy to explain that in a movie. And I feel like you can make the story anything. I feel like that world is so cool. And I can just imagine Keanu Reeves running through or walking through like that Gollum City, like at night, like talking to people and sneaking around.
Well,
this
is Square Enix. We got a Tomb Raider movie. We have a Hitman movie.
That's true.
They make freaking animated Final Fantasy movies and stuff too.
Like, I feel like this is like...
I feel like that's definitely possible.
I feel like this is like the obvious one. One, because I think it'd be easy. And two, you already got...
Essentially... CGI some cool shades on John Wick.
Yeah, take the director of John Wick too, because he was originally I think he was a stunt actor or coordinator, one of the two, on the Matrix movies with Keanu Reeves, and then he directed John Wick, and obviously that movie's directed phenomenally. Not only with the storytelling, but the action is super badass. And just imagine like that direction for a Deus Ex movie. Granted, John Wick is very guns blazing, action packed, which obviously in any movie you gotta
have to that some in
right.
And the story would make literally no sense with the Deus Ex universe,
right? But you can
combat wise, it look cool.
Yeah, combat wise, I mean, I can imagine like just the ability alone in Mankind Divided, where you do that thing where you shoot out in slow motion all those bombs. I could see an awesome shot like that. You can use the arm blade in a cool fight scene. But there'd be a handful of cool stealth scenes you could pull off. That'd be awesome. But I feel like that's...
I guess we'll kind of see
easy to
how
do.
Stealth is brought to... our stealth type of game is brought to the big
screen in Assassin's Creed.
And Splinter Cell.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
With Tom Hardy.
Yep.
But is there any, like, I guess we can't have a all positive review. Is there anything you don't like?
This doesn't bother me because I can get over it because the gameplay's so good, but I can understand why people are annoyed with the way the game kind of looks. Now, it's not, the graphics aren't bad, but sometimes in the cutscenes, Jacob can vouch for this, someone will be talking and the audio is not synced up to the mouse, which I see that.
That was my first impression of the game.
Now, when I saw that, I'm like, I can understand why.
He'll do the Geralt thing too, where he's like waving his hands around and stuff.
I mean, I can understand why this is like the big generation. I mean, obviously nowadays people don't consider this a big leap from the previous generation, but people come to expect little things like at least sync the audio up with the characters that are talking. Doesn't bother me, but I can understand why that would annoy some people. But other than that, I haven't played enough of the game to be bothered by anything else.
I'd have to be like really... I know this game's not perfect, and if I know I'm like saying I freaking love this game. If I were to rate this game, I wouldn't give it like a 10 out of 10. I'd give it like a solid 9. Like easy, any day of the week, solid 9. I'd have to like really sit down and think about like things I didn't like. I guess in the beginning there were probably things I didn't like, but I just became so accustomed to them that I kind of just forgot about it. Like the controls are a little weird. I don't know what control style you picked, but I just picked standard. And that's kind of like what I'm used to now. And there are a few, like to put your weapon away, you have to hold down square and then push L2 Like, it's weird, but once you get used to
Mine's
it,
where I just have to hit triangle and it just goes down.
See, I'm on standard.
Okay.
I just push. I have to push square and left trigger to put my gun away. To switch weapons, I push square and right trigger. To change ammo types, I push square and R1. But also to like look at my gun, I have to hold down square. So you can kind of get confused.
I do like that too, how you can swap out the ammo and guns and attachments and stuff.
Yeah, but there are like hotkeys and stuff too, based on the. But yeah, once you get used to controls, it's great. I guess there's that. There are some side missions that aren't as good as other ones. I wish it would have I wish that you could go back and play missions. I feel like that's kind of lacking. It's kind of like every single trophy's missable.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Literally every single side mission. If it doesn't really tell you a lot about side missions. Like, there's a side mission where you literally have to go up to a billboard that's glitching and push square on it, and an entire mission unlocks just from that. So it's kind of like hiding a lot of the cool missions and stuff, though, that you kind of have to be looking at a guide to find. So I think they could do better about like hinting like, oh, you should probably go here. And a lot of the side missions they do, but that one I'm talking about in particularly, that they kind of like really hide that one. But I guess that could be improved upon. The game chugs quite a bit during one particular part of the city. Everywhere else it's fine. When you're actually in the missions, it's fine. I've heard the gunplay is a little sluggish, but like I said, I haven't played like that.
I can see why it would be, because every time I aim down the sights, it doesn't feel very smooth.
Yeah.
It also, I mean, I'm
It's
sure
really
you can turn this.
snappy,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But like
Can
I
you
said,
turn that off?
Maybe. I haven't looked.
Because that's another thing that can easily be explained to the lore: the fact that you're augmented, your gun just goes to people's heads.
That's true. That's true. But it's in terms of, like I said, I play it strictly stealth, so that's why I'm loving it. I'll go back and probably experiment with just like killing people and
for
stuff.
fun,
just for fun,
to blow off some steam after all that sneaking around.
I had to get a few trophies doing particular things, like shooting out the exploding arm blade, and that was really awesome. And like, there's one trophy where you have to do a dive and smash the ground and take out guys with the typhoon immediately after, and that was really cool. Like, you can literally level an entire room by pushing one button, so you're like super powerful. So that's the thing. I'd really have to sit here and think. So I definitely give it, my recommendation. I'm glad I don't have to like legit or review, as I was just discussing,
like number it.
Yeah, so I don't have to I don't really like numbering, but if I had to, I'd do like a 9 or whatever. It's not perfect, but I freaking love it. It's so fun. And there are some, I feel like some doors, with it being like a next gen game, there are quite a few doors you can't go in, especially if you sneak up into an apartment. And I'm thinking like, oh, I'm finding a way around this. And
right.
Like, every door's non-open.
That's another thing I wanted to add. I almost forgot. One thing I will say, I mean, I'm beating a dead horse if you heard other reviews of this game at this point. But even if I do explore somewhere and it takes me to a dead end, there is always something I can grab there. Yeah. Like, whether it's crafting parts, a hydraulic pump to sell, literally the tiniest thing, there's always at least one little thing there. Sometimes better things than others.
I found a Praxis kit.
Did you?
Yeah, and some rooftop. I was like,
nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so when exploring is always rewarding, which is great, because it not only does it give you or encourage you to explore in the sense of finding different pathways, but also gives you encouragement, like, even if you don't find a new path, you're going to find something of value at the end of this place. So that's also very satisfying, I will add. And
like I said previously, you get a bank and break into a bank, which is always
so far that's my favorite side mission.
Yeah. There's a full on mission.
Is there?
Yeah.
I think I've heard about that.
You go even deeper, like into the vaults and stuff.
Nice. Now, I snuck down into the vaults at one point, I think, unless it doesn't allow you before, unless it's different vaults. I'm thinking of.
You need a special key card that, because I got in a side mission, I got a card that said it was for a Taoyuan medical vault card, and I was like, dang, I'm gonna go to this vault and break in. And
now, does it tell you to, or you just choose to?
I just chose to. But I got to where the vaults are, and I needed a special key card. So I was like, I'm sure I'll be coming back later. Lo and behold, a mission takes me down there, and I found the vault I had the key card for. And I went in, and I found like a top secret blueprint for like something for my nano blade, and like there's an ebook in there, so I have to do that again.
Nice.
But just stuff like that, and it doesn't even tell you about it. It's just like, oh, you found this key card, it goes to a bank. This game doesn't really put 2 and 2 together for you a lot. Like, it'll give you a code to a place, and like no HUD marker comes up, so you have to be like, oh, I just have to go there, or like, oh, I have to find this bank vault, or you'll like read these pocket secretary things, and it'll give you a code, like I said, and it just tells you where it is, and you have to go find it. So it's cool in the sense it doesn't really hold your hand. It just kind of tells you, hey, the objective's here. Figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But yeah, I've praised this game enough. I love it. Like I said, I definitely recommend it if you're into stealth games at all. So
There's a funny story of something I goofed in the game, and so you obviously find your own path. Well, there's the easy one at the end of this one side mission where you're working for like this underground journalist. He's like, hey, I want you to go hack this control tower on top of this building. I'm like, okay, that's easy enough. So this is also before I had my jumping ability, so I'm trying to find any way to get on this rooftop, and I can't find anything. And I come around the side of this building. Now, it's not the building that has the thing I need to hack on it, but it's right next to it. So I'm like, and the distance between the two buildings is doable. Like, I can make the jump. So I'm like, I just got to make it to the top of this building. So there's a scissor lift on the side of this building. It's like, insert a, what are they called?
biocell?
Yeah, a biocell to power it so you can go up. So I'm like, okay, this solves my problem.
There's a gameplay mechanic there where you can use these biocells to extend your kind of meter to use your augmentation. So it's either like, oh, I can use one on this piece of machinery that could lift me, but then again, I'm losing something to charge, my abilities up. So it's kind of like you can kind of, balance that. So
Totally. Yeah, well, stuck it in there, took the scissors lift. It takes me like halfway up the building, and I'm like looking around. There's nothing to jump on. I'm like, what did this accomplish? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't have any more biocells, and I was like, that's annoying. So I come back down. I'm like, I guess I got to find another way. I walk 10 feet around the corner, and I should have just walked all the way around the building to where I need to go in the first place. Walk around the corner. There's another scissor lift that takes me all the way to the top. So obviously I reloaded my save, but which was also like 20 minutes behind. So I had to do all this stuff like a second time. But for some reason I was like, I don't feel like crafting another biocell, so I reloaded it. But I was so mad at myself that I put it in the crappy scissor lift, and then 10 feet away was the one I actually needed to get in. So it's always worth exploring because you never know what you're going to find. But yeah, game's great. Obviously I haven't finished it, but I've had a blast with it, so yeah. I look forward to continuing.
I knew you would like this game.
Yeah, I trusted you because you said that Human Revolution was a great stealth game, underappreciated, and that you loved it, and obviously we found out about the new one. I'm like, well, I'm going to play it because Preston says it's great, so it's paying off.
Jacob, are you interested at all now?
Yeah, I'm interested. I don't know if I'll play it right now, but you've piqued my interest.
Just play
in your
Thief
review
for free. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Same thing.
that brings us to our community questions. Now, no one sent us any questions this week, which made me sad. It's okay. I felt very alone again on the internet, but that's okay. All of you who are tuning in, we greatly appreciate it. We want to hear all of your thoughts if you've played Deus Ex, if you're playing Deus Ex. Let us know down below. Let's talk about it because obviously that's the main topic. And anything else we've talked about this week, by all means, let's talk. But our one community question I had asked the community was, what are your thoughts on Deus Ex Mankind Divided? And our good friend Felipe, a.k.a. Hooded Dude, check out his channel, great content, said, great game, a bit rough around the edges, but sometimes... sorry, I screwed it up. Sorry, forgive me, Felipe. I'm just a stupid American. He using the hashtag AskIOG, that's ASK capital IOG on Twitter, just like all of you can as well. He says, great game, a bit rough around the edges sometimes, but gameplay makes up for it. Love the atmosphere, especially at night. Hashtag AskIOG. Amen, brother. I've yet to play at night. Actually, I have. I've played in Gollum City at night, but he pretty much nailed my thoughts just in a sentence, what I had to say. So thank you for responding, Felipe. There's only so much we can say because only one person contributed. But regardless, if you're listening to this video anywhere else but YouTube, please join us on YouTube. Subscribe, comment down below, say hello. We'd love to hear from you guys. And just if you play the game, we'd love to hear your thoughts because it creates more conversation. Perhaps you've had an experience that Preston and I have not had. That'd be cool to hear about. So if you have any cool stories, definitely let us know. But I guess I can plug what we're doing with Deus Ex now. It makes sense. If you've listened to this video, you've obviously heard the ad at the beginning of the video. We have a copy of Deus Ex that we want to give away to the community for free. It'll be our first giveaway of all time, and it's very easy to enter. Unfortunately, I know this is a bummer. We can only send it to people in the U.S. It's just it's out of our means to send it to other country currently at this point in our lives. So U.S. only, but if you're listening anywhere except YouTube, and if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, leave a comment, and you can literally say anything you want, but include like, hey, I want the free copy of Deus Ex, or give me the Deus Ex, or you can say something funny if you want. Literally any comment. If you haven't played the game, if you're interested now, like if you were on edge and like, I don't know if I want to play that, or if you didn't want to pay full price for it, just subscribe, like it, comment, and you're entered into the hat. And next week, a week from today, on episode 66, correct? Yes. On episode 66, we will announce the winner, and we will send you a free copy of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Now, I know it's funny. We're like, it'll be 2-3 weeks late at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks late. And then,
But hey, if you're on the edge of not knowing if you want to commit $60 to throw down on this is for you.
Exactly. So we want to give it away to the community, give back in what little ways we can to you guys for supporting us over all this time.
And you did mention you have to subscribe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we're douchebags like that.
We got to get something out of it.
Yeah. No, but for real though, we do want to give it away. So if you comment down below, subscribe and like it, you're entered into it, and we will announce the winner. We're going to do it in a cool. I think you said there's like an algorithm or something we can do online. That makes
we'll throw all your names in a hat, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So that'll be exciting. It'll be our first giveaway ever, which is exciting. So. But yeah, and you have a high chance of winning. It's not a whole lot of people. We don't have a huge audience yet, which is cool. So it's a small, tightly knit community so far.
Yeah,
so if you
have a good chance.
Yeah, if you're new, if you've been on Spotify or Google Play, Audio Boom, anywhere but YouTube, and now's your chance to join us on YouTube and enter and win a free copy. If
giving away a free copy of a game doesn't get you to move your ass from Spotify to YouTube, then I don't know what will.
Yeah. But yeah, again, thank you to all who joined us, and anyone who's willing to contribute to this conversation down below. Deus Ex, anything else we talked about this week would be awesome because we love hearing from you guys. But yeah, it was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this Dr. Seuss game's really, really cool.
Dr. Seuss, Mankind Divided.
Mm-hmm.
That was
is it weird that I think that every time I see
Deus Ex, Dr. Seuss.
I never connected those together. That was the Obvious Gaming Podcast. Sure, my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games, obviously. If you liked that, please subscribe. Give us a like down below, and please join in the conversation about Deus Ex. And like Kara said, if you want to win that damn copy, please write something down there too. U.S. only, please. Yep. If you're outside of the U.S., we'll kiss a piece of paper and send it to you.
Yeah,
you'll have our love.
We'll play games with you online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Join our PSN community. Can't forget about it.
It's Obvious Gaming.
Yep.
Also follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Audio Boom, and Google Play. Please write a review too. We would very much appreciate that. We might poop our pants if we actually got a rating on iTunes.
Yeah, that'd be great. One day we will.
We'll film it.
It'll be like 2.5 stars. Like, these guys are assholes and the show's okay. That'd be good enough for me.
Yeah.
And don't forget the hashtag not fanboys. I don't know if that exists, but I think that sounds so funny on a t-shirt. Just not fanboys, just the tiniest PlayStation logo and like the back tail end. That'd be so funny. Yeah.
Please subscribe to our Patreon and make that a dream a reality.
Yeah. If we ever have a Patreon.
That's our $200,000 tier. We'll make those t-shirts. Patreon.com/notfanboys.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to talk with you.
As always.
Again. I hope we're all feeling better. I know you didn't feel bad. I hope me and Garrett are feeling better in terms of us sleeping.
Yeah.
And hopefully
we need to take care of ourselves a little better. I mean, you eat well, but I eat bad and don't sleep.
Last night I almost died. You guys are lucky to have me here.
That was a disgusting story the way you described it.
Dude, it was good though.
Yeah.
I was enjoying every second of it.
I believe it.
That's what sucks is like during the moment you're just like, life can't be better than this.
Right.
And then alas, you almost die.
Yep.
But it's been a pleasure, and I hope viewers at home have a fantastic weekend ahead. Please play Resident Evil 4 if you haven't on Tuesday.
Totally.
And I think that'll do it for today.
Absolutely.
All
See you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Everyone have a good week. See ya.